Hello, all you wild, weird, wonderful, fantastic, brilliant people out there live in YouTube land. How the hell are you? I'm 2 minutes early today. I know, I'm sorry. I'd like to keep you all on your toes. So, how's it going? Will we just hang out here now for a couple of minutes and just wait for a couple of people to come in? I forgot to take members off only yesterday. I hope I did it today, because that's very annoying. Yeah, I hope everybody's having a fantastic day. I wanted to talk about the update in AD's case. So no remedies, and he's appealing. So there's a huge amount of things that we can talk about here. Hey, Sheila, love, how you doing? I'm just sort of outlining what I'm going to talk about. Roberta, how you doing, darling? How are you? There's a huge amount of stuff that we could talk about here. And the other thing is, I saw a screenshot earlier on. Val, what are you talking about? You're not going to allow me, Sheila, or whoever to hurt people? What are you talking about? Nobody's hurting anybody. What I am is speaking very plain English to you. And I'm speaking very plain English to everybody. And, you don't seem to be able to get that concept. There's nobody harassing anybody. There's nobody being mean or cruel or horrible to anybody, So let's just clear that up. And like, you're not going to allow it. It's like you think you're some sort of authority on here. You're not. And you need to just get over yourself, love. Hey, Lady Stardust, how are you, sweetheart? You really do need to get over yourself. I mean, like, that's just lunacy. Yeah, and you chopped up videos and things like that to make, to put it all across completely out of context. Everybody else in the world, hey Cassius, hey Emory, how you doing? Everybody else in this world knows what we were saying except you people. Now, I'm not going to say you're mentally deficient, but I don't know. It seems to me that it's heading that way. Good God. But okay, so hey Brian, how are you? So getting back to the story at hand, Emory, I don't know if you know all of this stuff about the Ruzek family taking a YouTuber to court. His name was Armchair Detective, aka AD, aka Alan Vivicum or Vinicum, Alan Vinicum. Sorry, it's that long since I've actually said the man's name. I've forgotten it. And anyway, it was supposed to be good. Be very glad you don't. Hey, YouTube lady. We all know the case, the Watts case. We all know how terrible and tragic it was. And, he is where he belongs. And, what more can you say about it? Armchair Detective, whereas I'm not a fan of his. But I don't see why he is the one that's being punished for stuff that absolutely everybody else on YouTube has saying or has said. Like I'm going to use one channel as a for instance. Your man Zawowski. He is constantly banging on, churning out videos about the Watts case, and he's making a nice chunk of change out of it. But why is nobody going after him or any of it? Was it Criminal Minds or Criminal something or other? Why is nobody going after those creators, taking them to jail or taking them to, court or clean out their bank account or putting bricks through their windows? I mean, because it's getting to a point now where it's just completely ridiculous. So we're at a situation here now where AD, we'll just call him AD for short, Alan Vinicum, the Armchair Detective, where a brick was thrown into a place where he used to live. He was doxxed, everything, all that online. His whole family was torn apart online. His daughter was just dehumanized, and it was disgusting, the things that Scotty, whatever his fucking name is. Oh, I didn't last very long not swearing, did I? he said some absolutely foul, disgusting things about her. Now, why do people feel the need to bring in other people's family members to things like this is beyond me. I mean, a guy that makes up songs about dead children being raped and abused and all sorts of things and thinks it's funny, that leads me to tell, that really does tell me an awful lot about the people that you hang around with. I mean, if you guys feel that that's funny. Oh yeah, yeah, Madeline McCann and whoever else. It was disgusting. It was absolutely disgusting. And he thought it was hilarious, and all these people that are, fighting for the family, fighting for the Ruzek family, they all thought it was hilarious as well. And it makes me very sad because we were all united at one stage, because let's face it, AD was coming out with some tall tales, and and I could understand at the time, but I don't I really don't know why this case affected everybody so badly that was um involved with it in any way, shape or form. I mean, I know everybody in here gave time, effort, money, talent, you name it, everybody gave, and at times to a detriment to themselves, just to get this case up and running, and then Cohen Davis says that, they did a pro bono. Well, then what happened to the money that we raised? So I'm very confused, and that's fine. To be honest with you, I'm not interested in this case anymore. I hear bits and pieces about it, and I really just don't care. But some of the reasons that the family, I'm not going to mention their names because I'll be probably flagged or reported or whatever, because you can't have an honest, open conversation on YouTube anymore without these little, and I will call them dictators, sitting around listening to your streams, hitting report. That's fine. This is my opinion, and it's my views, my opinion only. And anybody else is welcome to come up and have a debate about that. That's not a problem. Actually, I'll drop the link now. Val, you seem to have an awful lot to say in comments and everywhere else, but you don't ever say anything to me or to my face or to Salty's face. So, it leads me to believe that you're a bit of a coward. Um, I don't watch any of your channels. I'm sorry. I know you'd like to think that I do, but I don't. Um, you've spewed enough poison over the years. So no. I mean, okay. Let's take it right back. Okay, they were bringing AD to court because they said that AD said that Frankie had an arrest. He's been arrested multiple times for all sorts of things. And he was absolutely not true, absolutely not true. And his mother said, absolutely not true. My son doesn't have a record. Guess what? He has a record. And one was for the delinquency of a minor. If that had been my child that was involved in that case, I wouldn't have let that go. I'm sorry. You're going to help my child buy something that they shouldn't be buying, like alcohol, cigarettes, whatever. Use your imagination. I wouldn't have let that go. Delinquency of a minor, and then there was, I think, marijuana charges. I think there was quite a few of them. What else was there? Oh yes, not forgetting the child abuse charges. His ex-partner had two small children, and he, as far as I know, and as far as the charge sheet says, he battered them. And putting a hand on a child that especially isn't yours, I mean, is just, you don't do that. But of course, all of this was buried, and this is what I don't understand. How can you take somebody to court for telling the truth, or the truth as we know it? And it is fact. I mean, we've all seen the charge sheet. I mean, nobody's telling any lies here, as much as I'd like to be, because I mean, how can I put this? Nobody should ever have to go through what that family went through. Let me just make that very, very plain. Nobody should have to go through that. And I can't believe, I can't put myself in their position and how devastating it must have been. But it also doesn't help when you get nobodies like Linda sending families that have gone through a horrific crime, and that have to bury their loved ones, and small children. Um, oh, you better get on YouTube. Look at this. Oh, you should get on YouTube. Look at that. Look at this. Look at that. And like, let's not all forget, they were all pals with this AD guy from the start. They were all moderators on his channel. They were all giving him money, yeah, 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 let's get justice. And that's what I don't understand. What do you mean, get justice? You've got your justice. The man is behind bars. But no, that wasn't good enough. It was like, as Scott Reich, is that his name? Reich. I can never say his name properly. The solicitor guy. When they say it's not about the money, it's about the money. So nobody's supposed to be able to talk about this very, very famous, very, very public case. Nobody's supposed to say anything about it. But people will. It's like, how can I, what about the school shootings, the victims of school shootings? Is nobody allowed to talk about that? Or the shooting that was in the cinema? Or I mean, pick a disaster, pick a murder. And people will talk about it, people will speculate, because it didn't come to a natural conclusion or finish. The investigation was stopped because they had their man, they had a confession. And like, yeah, I understand the frustration that people must feel. I do, because in a way it feels like there's no answers really. I mean, did he do it by himself? Did he not do it? But look, we can go over and over and over this until we're all blue, purple, and green in the face. The fact is, it's not going to bring anybody back. And I dearly wish it would, especially the children and that poor little baby that never got a chance to breathe air. But it's not going to bring anybody back. So now let's take it back to the fundraising that we did. I mean, I used to stay up all night protecting the family from horrible and mean comments, and sticking up for them, having their back in every way, shape, or form. MRH, how you doing, chicken? How are you? Um, I donated, done all the things that you could possibly do to help a family that were obviously going through like the worst time of their life. But then things start coming to light that was just not right. For me anyway, it started around the big fundraiser that we had one weekend. Nasty comments, and just this nasty sort of jealousy, infighting. And I was like, what the hell is going on here? It just got ridiculous. And then people bought things on an auction they didn't receive. And I know anything that I sent out, it was sent out, and anything anyone bought from me, or bidded on my things, they were all sent out, and everybody received what they were supposed to receive. It may have been late, as I explained to people at the time, but people who live in other countries always think they know better than what's happening in my own country. It just makes me laugh. Um, but anyway, that was the reality of it, and things were slightly delayed, but they were all posted off. And it's one thing I always do, because when you have not high ticket items, certainly for the jewelry that I sent, I obviously got insurance and all that kind of thing, but I always get proof of postage, especially for customers when they buy things. Always do. I always ask for proof of postage so I can show to them. If they don't want to register it, I always advise register and post. Obviously that's an extra charge on the customer, but if they don't want to go register post, they just want to go normal post, I will always have a proof of postage, and I always had it. So it would show quite clearly the date that I posted the item off. But the more frustrating thing was, people weren't contacting me to give me names and addresses so I could get this stuff out. And at the time, Preach Queen and Outie were doing it all, and I had that woman tormented for names and addresses, and people were giving me a hard time about it. I'm like, look, I'm as wise about all of this as you guys are. I have no idea what's going on. I'm not getting names. I'm not getting addresses. And, Preach got a bit shitty with me after a while because I was tormenting her. And I showed all the emails. I have nothing to hide. Um, so the wheels start coming off because certain people, I think, were jealous of other people, and what they could contribute and what they couldn't, and it just got really, really stupid. And then to see the whole charge sheet, his rap sheet, I was disgusted when I saw that he had physically assaulted kiddies. I was sick. I was sick. And then, not to mention the fact that this disgusting picture of him that was made public. Now, I'm going to say this should never, ever, ever have been made public. Never. And I think it's a horrible thing to do to anybody in a vulnerable situation. Obviously, the guy had too much something, drink, whatever. He looked out of his mind, and he had an implement on his member, shall we say, uh, which was, I don't know what it was supposed to do, but it was a pump of a description. And anyway, he was out cold, and somebody took this picture of him, and this was getting circulated, and I didn't want to see it. I really didn't want to see it, but it was circulated so much that it was literally in my inbox one day, and oh shit, oh my God, deleted, deleted, deleted. I did not want that on my phone. Hi, Frida. So with that being that, and I took a step back because I felt, wait, hang on a second, the train is running away without the tracks here. What is going on? Like, how can he take on to court for saying that he has a criminal record? He does have a criminal record. I mean, like, what? So things weren't adding up to me. They really were. YouTube lady, did I miss a YouTube lady? I'm sorry if I did. I'm thinking now, because if I don't keep thinking, I'll be sidetracked. So, the train was running away without the tracks at this stage, and nobody knew what was going on. And then the bombshell, the real big bombshell hit, and the woman that was supposedly the solicitor acting on their behalf in the UK, she wasn't a solicitor. We've proved it. She wasn't a solicitor. She was not registered with the SRA. The lies that she came out with. And again, Mama jumped to her defense and said, yes, she is a solicitor. And I'm like, no, she's not. Why the lies? I could understand if she was lied to and she had a private conversation with her and say, look, we don't really want to discuss it. Claire's no longer a part of the team, whatever. But, we're moving on. We don't want to talk about it, whatever. I could understand that. I could understand being so hurt and upset that somebody that you classed as a friend would do something like that to you, make you believe in that. But then when you start to look into it a little bit more, if you're going to have a case in the UK and you're going to go with crowd justice, you need a bank account and you need an address in the UK. And I don't know anybody else who was going to be offering them that up. So I think that's what Claire was facilitating. This is not facts. This is my opinion. But we know she was never a solicitor. That's for sure. And that literally took the wind out of everybody's sails. Literally took the wind out of everybody's sails. And again, as I said, I stood back. I wanted to see what the hell was going on, because there was so many lies being told from everybody. I mean, I stood there. I had no idea what the hell was going on. I was like, what the fuck is going on in this place? It's insane. And then I really started to analyze and I will say what we were doing. Because I was part of it in the early days. Absolutely. I was in there, like I was in the trenches, and I was like, what the fuck are we doing? I mean, like him, hate him, or love him, this is an old dude. He's got a gambling problem, possibly a drinking problem, not in the best of health. He's lonely. He lives alone. These guys are stalking him, like really stalking him, like everywhere he went. The hotels he stayed in, the games that he played. He loves his game of poker. And just the constant, he was literally under constant surveillance. I mean, to me, that's kind of fucking messed up, you know and I'm like, how can we hold anybody else accountable if the people in here aren't telling the truth, if the so-called truthers aren't being truthful? So when you have a situation like that, yeah, we just took one look at it and went, no, I want no part of this. I want no part of this. This isn't what we had envisaged from the start. It wasn't what we had hoped it was going to be. And then it was just the lies, the incessant lie, and they just kept coming. And when Martin had decided, when he found out that Claire wasn't a solicitor, he got so angry. That's it, my job here is done, I'm sickened, whatever. I know I posted his actual post, and it was nothing to do with the family, it was all down to Claire. But himself and Helen got together, and all of a sudden he'd done a 180. I mean, he'd done a 180 so fast I almost got whiplash. All of a sudden, oh, she's a great lady, she is, a solicitor, because Claire and Helen were very close friends, or were, or are, I don't know. So, and then we're moving along then to, as I say, Grotty Scotty, with the horrible videos that man has made. I mean, talk about dehumanizing people, and you've accused us of doing all of those kind of things as well. So some people, but you are no better than the worst of trolls that walk around the little fucking streets of YouTube. Honestly, I don't know what it is that you think you're achieving, because you're really not achieving anything. You're making yourselves look like complete idiots. Complete idiots. You're stalking and harassing a pensioner who isn't in great health, and you're doing it for all the wrong reasons. As I said, a few weeks back, and I think Salty will back me up on this, from day one, there seems to have been some sort of mania attached to this case. And I don't care what anybody says, there's something not right. There's a dark cloud surrounds this case, and anybody that gets in any way involved with it gets tainted, gets tinged, or gets infected by some sort of nasty energy that surrounds this whole mess. And I didn't want any part of it. Genuinely didn't want to have any part of it. But they wouldn't accept that. They can't accept that people actually want to think for themselves, that I don't want to be part of a group mentality that just wants to stalk and harass and torment an old man into his grave. Because, I mean, you've done that before. Look what happened with Norman. Again, I didn't really know Norman. I genuinely didn't know the man very much. I think I may have spoke to him in comments maybe 3 or 4 times. And that was it. And then the man passed away. Again, I don't know him, if he was weird or wonderful or whatever, but he was still a human being that didn't deserve to be trolled into his grave. Nobody deserves that. I mean, if you think that words and feel that your feelings mean more than facts, well, I'm sorry to tell you that isn't facts. I mean, your feelings aren't facts. They're your feelings. They're your issue to deal with. They're not mine. And back to Val saying she's not going to allow me, Salty, and Sheila, and whoever else that she mentioned to treat people the way we've been treating them. What are you talking about? You don't like plain speaking people that just tell you as it is. And that's one thing that I love about Salty, and I love about Kiss, and I love about Sheila, is that we speak our minds, and we don't flourish it with bullshit and word salad. I say what I mean, and I mean what I say. And I'll stand by anything that I've said on here. I mean, there's a link. I've dropped a link, Val. If you want to come up and talk, come up and talk. Because this nonsense is going on too far. It's too far and too long. So now you were all going on about, Remedies, ha ha, Frankie won Remedies, la, 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 Frankie won Remedies. And I was like, okay, cool, yeah, it's over, yeah, great. That was my reaction, to be 100% honest with you. Oh yeah, cool, it's over, grand, yeah, whatever. Didn't really think about it anymore until I saw the no, it's not going to Remedies. He is appealing, and he has the right to appeal. And you know what? I'm kind of glad he is, because there's been too many lies told. And on both sides, I'm not saying he's any angel, far from it, but he is allowed to speculate on a case, especially doing what he does. He is the armchair detective. He is doing nothing worse than anyone else that's been on this platform. I mean, what was that? That beautiful lady. Oh, she was going. Oh, Bam loved her. She thought she was great. Bonita Barbie. Yeah, you all of you bullied her off YouTube. I mean, who do you think you are, bullying people off a platform or social media? That to me says there's something deeply wrong with all of you people. I mean, if you don't want my opinion on things, don't bring me into the conversation. Don't mention my name. It's really that simple. I don't talk about people unless somebody sends me things and I'm looking at screenshots. I'm going, oh, really? Is that a fact? Then I'm going to have something to say. So how are you going to spin this one now? Frankie didn't win. How's this going to spin? How's this going to work? Because I'm curious. I'm really curious to hear what your opinions are. Fair play to JC yesterday posting that. Good woman. Sorry, I have to click on this. Then it's impossible to see comments. As for that scorn, spiteful, vindictive, nasty piece of work, well, she can also all the way off and trying to twist it. Yeah, I know, but that's all that they do. That's all they do. I mean, as I said, I've been saying it, like, I can easily sit through her videos. Oh, Jesus, it would pain me to do it, because I just, her voice is like, nails on a blackboard. But I could sit through her videos and I could make a video of her saying all sorts of mad things with little clips and piecing them all together. But I don't do that, because that's disingenuous. It's not true. And she didn't say that. Well, she did, but they weren't, no context, no nothing. I mean, we can all do that, Val. It's really easy to do. And maybe I will do one just to show. But you know what they'll say? Oh, hypocrite, hypocrite, hypocrite. No, 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 no. You don't condemn me and blacken me and our names for doing maybe something that similar that you guys do, but you guys do it worse. And the only thing that is like, that has the hypocrisy that you carry is a narcissist. So I mean, I would ask you to look at the things that you're coming out with, because really you're talking out your backside. And I have never ever come across people that are just so angry with life in general. They just seem to be so mad at the world, and everybody has to pay for whatever issues they have going on in their lives. And I'm sorry if your life isn't going the way you want it. I'm sorry if your whatever isn't going the way you want, but that's not my problem. It's not my problem. It's not my issue. And you shouldn't be making it everybody else's issue, especially not on social media. Social media is for socializing. It is not for pouring out all your bits and pieces and, things that shouldn't be aired in public. Uh, The humidity, yeah. I know. Martin didn't wet the bed. It was humidity. That's never not going to be funny. I'm just saying that's never not going to be funny. But yeah, it's just. I hope AD has representation with him this time going into court, because I think everybody should. Everybody should have representation going into court, especially for something like this. And yeah, and then I just hope everything is put out properly and honestly. I mean, we now know that let's see, emails, comments, all sorts of things like that have been doctored by said troll groups in the past, and they're still doing it. So now I would have to call into question any evidence that has come from any of those parties that are on here doing those things. You would have to call that into question. You would have to go back and look for the original timestamp of the video, where it was said, give me the entire context of the conversation. So whereas I understand that you can't be making up blatant lies about people, and I understand that, but people do it all the time on YouTube because that's what it is. Oh, hey, Terry. Yeah, of course. Sorry, darling. I thought I had it dropped. You must have only come in. So yeah, I genuinely hope he has representation going into court, because he does need it, and as much as people he knows might help him, he needs proper help in the court.
Yeah, just real quick, because like I said the last week, I'm on a schedule, and I think some people are around here that, value me a little bit. You don't have to worry about me, right? I'm executing a plan to weed out some trash in my circle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the thing, while I'm not around, it's like I told these people, like after my mom died, I'm on a schedule to get my life back together. Because of this shit, I'm back on schedule. So I devise a plan where I can leave, get back on schedule, but it's still working. So that's what's going on. They still think I'm spiraling. The funny thing about a spiral is it depends, which way you turn it, like if it's spiraling up or down. So I'm going to be back on Saturday, like with my final judgment. I will have a new channel that people can go to, and then you can see like what this shit was all about the whole time. But just letting you know, like, you don't have to worry about me. I'm fine. I'm just doing what I envisioned to do, and it's working perfectly. Thank you.
Yeah, good. Well, I'm glad, and I'm glad. It's always good to hear from you, Terry. Yeah, we do care about you, pal, and we are. We all said the other day. I think I said it on two lives that we're thinking of you, buddy. And I know you're getting there. You're doing your thing. You're doing exactly what you said you'd do. So yeah, you do your thing, pal, and we'll look forward to the new channel. And yeah, do your thing, brother, do your thing. So yeah, I don't want to sort of talk about Terry and his man passing and all that kind of thing, because it's not YouTube folly, so we've all lost people. We all know what it's like to lose people. So we're thinking of you, buddy. We got you. But it'll be good to have you back. Let's just put it that way. It'll be good to have you back, my friend. In any capacity, we miss you. But so going back to all of this nonsense, the remedies. Oh my God, how they battered everybody over the head with the remedies. It just did. Oh, he won, and it's like, it ain't over till it's over. So who knows what's going to happen. Who knows? I certainly don't, and I don't think anybody else does either at this stage. But I will wish both sides the best, and it's just a pity that there was so many lies. It really is such a pity, because actually now when I look back and I'm thinking, how fucking arrogant were we demanding this man be off YouTube when he was just giving his opinion? It wasn't facts. Now that I think about it, I'm like, who the fuck did we think we are? Like, really, at the end of the day, when you boil it down, who the fuck do we think we are? Like, as I've always said, if you don't like somebody's content, just move, scroll on. You don't have to sit and watch it. Hey, Sakatoshi, how's it going? Um, so there is an element of that. If you don't like somebody's content, if you don't like what they have to say, and the same as here, keep going. Nobody's asking you to hang around. Hello, my darling.
How's it going?
I'm good, my brother. How's things with you today?
All right. See the Irish flags?
I do. I see it. Yeah.
Yeah. What were you talking about? Bullying people off the internet and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. It's gone insane. I mean,
Well, here's the thing: is one thing is like busting balls, or you make a video, I make a video disagreeing with you and point out like where you're wrong and stuff.
Yeah.
But when it goes to stalking people, looking up families, that's really unhealthy and insane. Stuff like that. And I've seen that happen all over YouTube. There was one video where a guy was shot unalived a few months ago, like where he was literally on I don't know if you've seen it or not. It was on a live stream.
I haven't seen it because I've chosen not to watch it, because that kind of stuff just freaks me out.
Gotcha. Well, my point is with it all is a lot of these people do this. Like I said, if you want to make a video of somebody online and like point out where they're wrong, you have every right to. But stalking and harassing people is pretty sick. Or they'll bully these women, these older women, or it's just really weird.
Yeah. Oh, I've had 2 death threats.
Yeah, see, that's crazy. No matter how let's say if me and you got an argument over whatever, right? No matter how bad I disagreed with you, I'm not going to say I want to hurt anybody. That's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah. In the middle of a live stream, and I'm coming for you. I'm sorry, but I'm taking that as a direct threat.
Well, as you should. It's like I said about that thing earlier. It's a crazy world out there. A lot of people. There's some wackos that will try to go hurt people. You never know. It's a sick world.
But you see, the thing is, now we're in completely different countries, but they have, I should say, himself and his partner have enough lunatics that might be going, oh, I'm going to do this for Martin, I'm going to do this for Helen, I'm going to go over and sort her out. The paramilitaries was thrown at me, which I kind of laughed at. I thought that was sort of funny.
That is very true. Even if you live in a different country than somebody you're arguing with or somebody who's threatening you, you could get some fanboy or fangirl who wants to impress them, right? Who does live in Europe. It happened to me. It happened to me about 2 years ago. Some weirdo, this guy was just, talking crap, trying to get people to come fight me, all this. Some weirdo in my state actually was dumb enough to come down here to meet me. I gave him a vicious beating, but still. It's just the point, right? And this guy was from my state, didn't know him from a hole in the wall. We actually went to the same elementary school, but 10 years apart, right? Oh. I couldn't understand why. Like, even if I'm watching a YouTube channel, there's a guy from my city and someone from somewhere else. Let's say I agreed with the other guy, and I'm still not going to want to go fight or mess with somebody. That's retarded. Like, you have a life,
It is.
But it happens.
Thing. Yeah, but you see, that's the thing that I'm so scared about. It's not the fact that I believe either one of those would do it, but one of their mental friends might decide to just jump into their car and arrive at your door. I mean, the video I was sent was a load of men kicking in and smashing in a front door of somebody's house and their windows, and bins on fire being thrown through the house, and then people being dragged out. And the usual Chucky our law and our day will come in Irish, basically. And I'm looking at it going, oh, really? Really? You're threatening me with Chucky our law and I'm in Ireland.
I got it on my arm.
Oh, wow. I love it.
Day will
Love it.
come. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to threaten anybody, that's just ridiculous. Like, number one, who threatens women on the internet? Threatens anybody? You look stupid. Like I said, if you want to debate somebody on their points or something, debate them, pick them apart on their points or their arguments. When you're going to go to threatening people, that just shows you're mentally ill.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, it really genuinely does. I mean, oh God, it's just the lies that they come out with, and it's the way that they go at people, and like I cannot do lies. I can't do lies. I'm not going to pretend that I do lies. I don't, and I can't tolerate anybody that tells them. We tend to part ways fairly quickly, because you can never trust that person.
No, no.
You know, you can never
Just be
trust.
yourself. And if they lie to you once, they're always going to lie. Or if they lie to if you see them lying to like someone else, they're going to lie to you. Liars never stop. They're sick, and YouTube is a breeding ground where anybody can be anything, right? Like I can come on here and say I'm a Mormon, right? And I
Oh,
and I own a tractor or something, and that's not true. But you can be anything you want. So these people get really carried away
oh
and
yeah,
crazy, and to threaten people, it's like, come on, that's
yeah.
crazy.
Oh, I know, and like there's a few of us been threatened now, and it's all to do with this godforsaken Ruzek case, the Watts Ruzek case, and because we were all sort of, again, when I think back, I'm thinking how fucking arrogant were we, thinking we had right to tell this YouTuber to stop making his content and get off YouTube, when there's more people that are saying worse things than he ever did on here now, but nobody's going after them. I just don't understand the logic.
What
Why
was it?
go after
What
him?
was it? A community of like a bunch of people and it broke apart, basically.
Oh yeah, yeah, pretty much. We were the truthers, we would debunk everything that this guy was coming out with, and it was pretty clear he was doing it for the money, nobody's lying about that. It is clear he was doing it for the money, but then so is most people up here.
Yeah.
Satoshi, how you doing?
Good morning,
Good
Are you
morning.
well?
or good afternoon, whatever it is in Ireland.
It's afternoon. But yeah, so I mean, if you ask me, there is a horrible negative energy that surrounds that case, because anybody who gets involved with it in any way, shape, or form gets royally screwed over, or there's nothing but bad energy that follows people around with it. It's just, I want nothing to do with it. I don't want any more to do with it. I've walked away a long time ago. But these people will not let you go. It's like they have to keep niggling at you and niggling at you, and I'll let so much go. I've let a lot go, and then I'm going to turn and bite you. I'm not going to sit there and be poked at and poked at and poked at and say nothing. There's only so much that I'll let go, and then I'll turn.
Well, you try to ignore people, for a while, and evidently that don't work, and they make lies up. So yeah, you're gonna stick up for yourself.
Of
I'm
course.
not familiar with the case or nothing. I actually have to go though, but thanks for having me up. 444. Nice meeting you. God
Yeah,
bless
you
you.
too, man. You too.
God
Good
bless you
talking to
guys.
you, Marie. Talk to you later, sweetheart. Have a good one.
God bless Ireland.
God bless you, hon. Take care. But yeah, so Zakatoshi, do you know about this case? I'm sure you do, or maybe you've heard about it.
What case?
The Watts case.
Watts?
Yeah, Christopher Watts. He murdered his pregnant wife and his two little girls.
Oh, well, that's nice of him.
Wasn't it? Yeah, very nice of him. Yeah, well, he's where he should be. He's not. The death penalty was taken off the table because he admitted his crime. I mean, and that was very gracious of her family. But yeah, I don't think I could have done that. I would want him just fertilizer. But
What drives people to do such things? Like what is it that snaps?
yeah, I that's the end. That's the end of the true crime thing that I am most fascinated with, the psychology behind it. That's what fascinates me.
I
And
feel like something takes over the person and they're not thinking at all. They're just on autopilot, and something takes them over and makes them do crazy shit.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, people do snap. We've all seen that, and we know it. But I think he was such a coward for so long, And then he was seeing somebody else, and he had this new life waving at him, or this new life sort of he had imagined in his head.
Yeah.
And he wanted out. He wanted no responsibilities. He didn't want the kids. He didn't want anything. He just wanted out. And what a callous, heartless, cruel man to do what he did to his children. I mean, his two little girls. It's just
To be so delusional to think that even if you did do that, you would get away with it. I mean,
oh yeah, I know.
you know, I could take a BB gun and shoot at my neighbor's mailbox, and they would know about it. You know, because they would have Ring cameras and all kinds of footage, and you know, you
Yeah.
can't get away with anything anymore.
Yeah, well, it's funny you should say that. The next door neighbor did have a Ring camera doorbell thingy, and the only thing that was seen was one car driving off, but he moved his truck back in. He reversed his truck back in to the garage, I suppose, and you could see him loading up the van. He was, or not the van, the truck. He was going back and forward and this side and that side.
Yeah.
And then I think it was Diane Hughes that noticed the little shadows under the car or under the truck. So the children were alive when they were leaving the house, is what has been surmised. But mum had passed. She had already passed, it seemed. Um, and by his motions, by the way he was walking, it kind of did look like. I hate speaking of things like this because it's so clinical, and they were people, and they are people with families and things like that. So I don't really like to go into the way he was holding or dragging or whatever. She was put into the car or in the back of the truck, and the children were in the back of the truck with their dead mum, which had to have been. I mean, I can't imagine what those two little girls must have gone through. One had to see her sister die, and then the other one followed, but bless her, she fought back, and it was a horrible, horrible, horrible thing. But you can't expect the world not to talk about it, or not to surmise or speculate about the other woman being involved, or this, that, or the other, because that's what YouTube does. That's what true crime is, and let's face it, a lot of people will make up shit and make up stories for, clicks and clout and whatever, and money, let's face it, on YouTube. A lot of people will do that. But the guy that they went after, they were all on his channel as moderators for a start. And I think personally they saw the amount of money that he was making, and they weren't happy about it. They wanted a cut, and I think he said no. And I think that's where it all started. Again, none of this is facts. I don't know. It's, again, my surmising, my speculation. Again, as I say, I don't know for fact, but that's the way it seems, because then they went after him. Now, Frankie Ruzak has said that he didn't have a criminal record. He, clean sheet, whatever. Comes to find out that that's not the case. He has got a criminal record. Hey, Jen.
Hello.
Hi.
Wiccan, do you remember Hebrew Hammer?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
He was live this morning.
Oh.
And it was very strange. He sounded like he was just rambling.
God only knows what that was about. Jen, I know your time is very short, so I'm going to give you the floor for a second, because I know you're out and about, and I know you want to make a comment. So work away, love.
Oh, bless her heart. Can you guys hear me all right, though?
Yeah, I can hear.
Perfect. Listen, I just wanted to because, as we know, gloating is not classy. So I'm not here to gloat, but I'd like to point something out, that the just for an example, the cackle of witches from All Hate, as of a week ago, this was the kind of, I'm just going to read off a couple of the comments from the queen of that owns the McCann case, Lizzie, and good old Chat GPT, Sophia Del. This is the shit they were putting out literally 1 week ago. So
Okay.
Lizzie put up a post. I don't know, just to quickly give the very short version of the backstory. Some Tony Bennett guy was, I guess, put in prison because of something to do with the McCann case and contempt of court. So Lizzie had, on June 29th, posted a story about that Tony Bennett guy, even though Lizzie is like the biggest anti-McCann troll around. So she basically put this story about Tony Bennett. And then she said this in her post. So June 29th. So we're literally talking 1 week ago. These guys were still banging on in their alternate delusional reality. The Remedies hearing, so I'm quoting Lizzie Taylor right now. The Remedies hearing on the 24th of July, 2025, may require Alan Vinicombe to adhere to certain requirements. I have posted this example since the beginning, and I believe there is a possibility that Alan Vinicombe may be required to follow certain requirements. If he violates any of these requirements, he may be in contempt of court and facing a possible prison sentence similar to what Tony Bennett faced. So this is the shit Lizzie is putting out a week ago. So Alan's going to prison. It still carries on. Now, what's even better is the queen of ChatGPT and the third non-lawyering liar that has become the main mouthpiece of all hate, Sophia Delve. This was her response. So we're literally saying a week ago, Sophia Delve, you're absolutely right, Lizzie. And Alan should take this very seriously.
Oh.
The upcoming... Yeah. Oh, wait, it gets better. It gets better, guys. So we're going to do an interpretive reading here of Queen of ChatGPT, Sophia Delp. So I'll start again. You're absolutely right, Lizzie. And Alan should take this very seriously. The upcoming Remedies hearing on July 24th isn't just about closing out a civil case. It's about consequences, and real ones. If the court imposes restrictions or orders and he violates even one, he won't be dealing with Frankie anymore. He'll be facing criminal contempt of court. That means fines, asset seizure, enforcement orders, and yes, potentially prison, everybody.
Oh.
Judges, yeah, I know. Judges, come on, Wicked. I'm trying to do this with a straight face. There's just a little bit more. So yeah, so let's let this sink in. So these people have already laid out in their delusional heads what's already going to be happening. Not only should Alan be banned off of all of social media forever because he's the most evil man to ever exist in all of the universe ever. So if the court imposes restrictions or orders and he violates even one, he won't be dealing with just Frankie anymore. He'll be facing criminal contempt of court. That means fines, asset seizures, enforcement orders, and yes, potentially prison. Judges don't play games with people who repeatedly ignore the law, delay justice, and weaponize online platforms to harass others. Alan's had years to comply, to behave responsibly, to respect the process, and he's done the opposite. The court is watching. The public is watching. If he defies wait. This is the final. This is the best one. So the court is watching. The public is watching. If he defies orders again, what orders does he even had imposed at this point, you fucking twit? So sorry. Yeah, if he defies orders again, there's no more wiggle room. The next steps will be serious, possibly life-changing, the way he thinks. TikTok, Alan, time's almost up. TikTok, right? Where do we get that from? Martin Goblin. Yeah, this is the kind of right? No hate, no lies, only exposing armchair. That group, that's
I mean, they're
all hate. That's all it is ridiculing and trying to
Again, I gotta go. Somebody just
honestly.
Okie dokie, Zakatoshi. Talk to you soon, darling. Be good.
Good seeing you.
Okie dokie, Zakatoshi. Hi, nice to meet you. Bye.
Bye.
But I mean, this is the shit they've been spitting out. Like, look at, I don't even want to mention her, but fake as fuck Chop. I mean, look at, I don't even want to get into what she's been trying to do for the last, her last few posts. But then, she slides in Frankie this, Claire Morgan that. You're a moron, Chuck. Get the fuck out of here and fuck right off with your gaslighting. Absolute gaslighting and deflection. You're a joke. Your boyfriend is even more of a joke. And as far as you go, Val, you can fuck all the way off.
Yeah.
You are one of the fakest, phoniest people I have ever met in my life.
Yeah, I have to agree there. What is it that they think they're achieving? Because I don't get it. I really don't get it. We can't have a conversation about anything. As I said the other day, everybody has hurt, everybody has pain, everybody has grief. Nobody owns pain, nobody owns grief, nobody owns anything, and it's oh my God, they just drive me insane. It's like, oh, you can't say that because she lost a child. Well, I've lost children? Yes, plural. I've lost children. Does that make my pain more than hers? Should I be pitied? I certainly don't want to be pitied, but
sorry, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at fucking at Daphne. TikTok are a bunch of
oh,
clowns.
I know. Yeah,
And
but
that's what it is. All
it
roads lead
is.
to clowns. They really do.
It's
And
so
the fact, as I said to Roberta yesterday, I said, you know what? At this point, I mean, I have no investment other than I have not liked what has happened. We all know where I'm coming from. The
Yeah.
Claire, absolute catastrophe of fuckery. That was the end for me. And the fact that people like Cohen Davis, Frankie, Sandy, they've all and Helen Martin, they all have tried to memory hole the Claire Morgan thing. Just the way that they've carried on. And I have said, I mean, I've said from the beginning, if what you're doing is above board, then you shouldn't need to lower yourself or resort to underhanded, sneaky, dodgy tactics, which, as we know, because Cohen Davis removed my video, that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
But, you know, you can't sit there and demand, you know, justice, calling out Alan's lies, deception, misinformation, misleading, insiders, when they've done the very, very same thing. The absolute deception, the misleading, in order to garner, you know, the donations. Well, Alan says that Frankie has a record. How dare he? Well, Frankie does have a record. But to collect and dupe the world that you're wanting donations to sue a man for something that's actually true.
Yeah, exactly. Had I have known about, you know, okay, whatever about the drugs, but the delinquency of a minor pissed me off, and the fact that he had hurt small children, no way would I have got involved. If I had have known that from the beginning, I thought that he was trying to blacken his name. I really did think he was trying.
I think we all did.
Yeah. Had I have known that from the beginning, I would have went, no, you're fine. You're on your own. I'm not getting involved in this. No, I'm not getting involved in this.
Well, I think it speaks volumes that they, you know, as I said, I mean, I remember having a post pin from Sandy way back in the day that, you know, that her son has never been in trouble with the law, has never had to deal with police. The fact that they went to such lengths to try and cover up and hide the fact that he does have a criminal record, number one. Let's not even get into what, you know, this plea deal contributing to the delinquency of a minor. As I said, in my opinion, that was the plea deal reached because we've all seen that arrest affidavit. He was arrested for child abuse, and those delinquency of a minor convictions stem from the same date of that child abuse arrest. But what was I lost my train of thought. Sorry, Wiccan, go ahead.
Oh, you're fine, darling. You're fine. Yeah, no, it's just his arrest sheet, basically, what was on it. And there was drugs as well, as far as I remember. I can't remember what else there was. It was those two things that really... Go on ahead.
The thing is what I find, and I just left a really long, I can't pull it up right now. But I left a very long reply to Lady Stardust. She had left a comment under my Remedies CP that I put up there yesterday. And essentially, you know, what I find so interesting is, you know, this fake, phony, faux advocate bullshit. It's funny how it's only ever been AD. Look at, and again, is it all morally wrong? Since we started, you know, debunking and calling out AD, you know, I'm not saying it's right, but the internet and social media has just wildly increased and vastly exploded into infinite channels that do the same thing AD was doing, far worse, far bigger. But it's funny how none of them seem to bother any of them. And this is why I've always...
Yeah, I don't understand that myself. You know, I really don't understand why it's just him. When, as you say, there's so many other channels on YouTube and Rumble and wherever, and they're all doing the same thing. Jen, we've lost you, honey. I can't hear you anymore. I don't think you're on mute, but you know, there are so many channels that are doing the... Oh, you're back.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Yeah, no, I was just...
but
it's
and that's why
I don't understand why it's just...
Well, and that's why they look so ridiculous now. They're all AD.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, literally, they hunt that man down everywhere he goes, and it's like he's under 24-hour surveillance. It's fucking weird. It's freaky. You know who does that shit? Well, we know who does that shit, but like normal people don't
Remember
carry on like.
what I was saying. So what I said to Roberta yesterday is I said, I mean, I'm out of this. You know, I just, you know, it should be an even Steven playing field from both sides, and we know that it's not. And I'm not giving obviously Alan any passes. He did some pretty shady shit back in the day. You know,
Oh
his
yeah,
shit that he made up. Nobody's ever denied that. So once again, Helen fucking Schaefer, I kiss AD's ass. I don't even have fucking contact with AD, so you can go fuck yourself. I'm sick and tired of you and your fucking ugly, toothless, chinless goblins lies. All you two have done is create chaos and wreak havoc the whole entire time. And we're sick of it, and it's over now. But what I said to Roberta was, at this point, you know what? Even if AD doesn't win his appeal, the fact that he was granted an appeal just, I mean, is gold to me, because those
yeah,
people
yeah.
were running around acting like it was a non-entity. I mean, I just read to you Sophia Delves delusional, you know, from a week ago. He's going to prison. He's paying fines if he violates orders again. He hasn't even fucking been given nothing, and there ain't no remedy hearing obviously happening on July 24th.
I know. Well, obviously not. You know, when you see the court document there that you posted, and I shared it for you because I wanted everybody to see it. You
Yes, I
know,
thank you for that.
no bother. Like this isn't near remedy, not yet. You know, I mean, it's not over till it's over. You know, as they
The
all
red
say.
arrow. Yes,
Yeah,
anytime I put
or
red
the red.
arrows going forward, that's all in honor of Martin Goblin Dehan.
But you know, I do hope AD has representation with him in court when he goes in. I do, because everybody needs representation going into court, and everybody deserves to be represented properly. You know, because there's certain protocols that you have to follow in court, and unless you're a solicitor and you're used to it, you're not going to do it right. Things aren't going to be filed properly. Evidence isn't going to be submitted properly, and it's just going to end up a mess. So, you know, I hope he has the appropriate.
I will give him kudos for whether it was him, he got representation. However, he submitted his appeal request was obviously done properly, because it was fucking accepted, and he's now got permission to appeal.
Yeah, yeah, and so that's good. You know, everybody is entitled to fight their corner. You know, especially
Absolutely.
when we know all the lies that we were all fed from day one. I'm pissed. I'm not going to hide it. I'm fucking angry about that. You know, they hid so much from us, and when it all started coming out drips, you know, drip and drabs here and there, I was fucking sickened. I was completely sickened.
Well, now people, I mean, can maybe understand, and you know, I know that lot have, you know, they call me angry, but you guys all remember how heartbroken and upset I was when Sam and I went live to expose what Claire had done or had not done, and how she had lied on every possible avenue when it came to those copyright strikes that they never had any intention of following through with. And I mean, those guys laughed at me. How dare I get upset? You know what? Obviously, you guys have no empathy, no conscience, no moral fibers, because you were so what if Claire lied? Get the fuck out of here.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm not even going to go there, but like, how can you say so what if Claire lied when you're talking about a case? You know what I mean? Lies fucking matter, especially in a court of law.
Well,
or
that's why
the court of law.
Well, that's why I still find one of the funniest fucking things is that fucking trash bag Val with a channel called Truth Be Told going, so what if Claire lied? What? I mean, that says everything right there to me.
It does.
That's the kind of fucking person that says it all. Truth be told, so what if Claire lied?
I know. And like, does she not see the hypocrisy? And the hypocrisy, you know, the root of all hypocrisy is narcissism.
She can't see anything beyond wanting to be the focus of attention for everything, and interjecting her fucking thirst trap ass into everything that's not her fucking business. Like I've said before, there's a reason why she was exiled from that narcissist community she was in. her and her narc full freak friend. There's a reason why she's not in that community anymore. And what we're seeing of her, I can see why nobody wants anything to do with her. Like I think it was Whoa Lisa made a really good comment. It's very interesting how all of these so-called narcissistic abusers all flock and hover around Val. I think the common denominator is Val.
Oh,
So
yeah.
she really needs to look at herself and just stop with her bullshit, because we all see through it. You're a fucking self-absorbed, condescending, nasty piece of fucking work.
Yeah. Yeah, and I have to agree with you, Jen. I mean, it's, but this is all getting so blown up and blown out of proportion now. It's just ridiculous, you
Oh,
know.
it was
And
getting blown out of proportion a long fucking time ago.
oh yeah, no, it was.
AD owes us a thank you for saving his life. That
Oh,
AD
fuck off.
locked up the fucking underage kids in the pub. Like, get the fuck out of here.
But it's the new vein that they're going in, you know, trying to hurt Salty and Little Salty and Cass. I'm not going to have that. I fucking won't have that. And I mean, if it was you and your family, I'd be doing the exact same, or anybody else's family, I'd be doing the exact same. I'm not having that. You know, you're not going to tell lies about my friends. You're not going to try and make them feel like shit, you know, for something that was deeply traumatic to them. And when you know you're lying, it's even fucking worse. You know,
Here's another perfect example, Sheila. Here's another perfect example of good old lies be told. The other clanger she dropped when she said, show me where I've talked about AD's daughter. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
And then fucking I cranked right out where she was talking about AD's daughter.
I know. I mean, like, really, woman, just stop making words come out of your mouth, please. Stop doing it, because you make yourself look like a clown every single time.
Well,
Every time.
she's pontificating like a fucking peacock, and she looks like a fucking joke.
Well, you know, I hope that they all have their aloe vera cream ready today, because they must be feeling the fucking burn now that AD's got, you know, he's got his appeal.
And you know,
he's got his,
I was very curious because, as we know, Martin thought he was outing me by showing that I was a part of AD's group. I joined back when Battery Acid put out his non-skate video.
Yeah.
So I don't really post in there, but just for shits and giggles, I just happen to, usually once a week, I would check on that Justice Tracker website to see if there was any update on the appeal. And I just happened to, I'm like, oh, I haven't checked in a bit. Sure enough, there it was. He hasn't even said anything in his own private group about it. So
Wow.
he's not out there, you know, look at me, I got an appeal. He's just, I guess, doing what he needs to do to make that appeal go forward. So he's not out there fucking gloating or going, hey, you know, here, shoving it down anybody's throat.
Yeah. No, he's
it
not antagonizing people either, and he could be,
Nope.
but he's not, you know, he's just getting on with it.
And let's just be clear, the delaying of justice. Let's remind everybody how Cohen Davis, for the first while, sent multiple demand letters to him. They were onslaughting him with demand letters to just pay up. They didn't want mediation. They just wanted to pay up.
Yeah.
How is that Alan delaying justice when they just kept demanding money from him? But it wasn't about the money, everybody. Don't forget, it wasn't about the money. Pay up
No.
or else. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I know. I mean, yeah, I hate saying it, but Bam called it from day one. She said it's a money grab. That's all this is about. It's a money grab. She said he'll want him to settle out of court. He doesn't want him to go to court. He'll want him to settle. You know, and you know, chickens are coming home to roost. Like, I mean, she like her or love her, you know, but she hit the nail on the head a lot of times, you know, when it came to different kind of cases and this, that, and the other, you know. But yeah, it like I'm interested now, because he did say before that when he was done with Alan, he was going to go through the rest of the YouTubers. Oh, and the Netflix documentary that Martin was saying, oh, they're making a Netflix documentary about Frankie and blah, blah, blah. Hang on 2 minutes now. I put whatever it was I was doing down, picked up my phone, because I'm connected with Netflix from my past jobs, whatever. I have a friend that works in commissioning, TV commissioning. So I contacted him. And I said, listen, do me a favor, will you check for this year, next year, or last year? Was there anything in production, pre-production, post-production, or anything that's coming out very soon? I told him all the story, and he was like, absolutely not, no, nothing. So
Of
I'm
course
like,
not.
oh,
But Frankie's banged on and mentioned a documentary for years now. This isn't just recent. So, I mean,
mm,
you know, what about all those other court cases that you were going to sue others there, Frankie? How's all that going?
yeah. You know, so like he can't pay his debts for the one case that is ongoing. So how is he going to go after everybody else on YouTube? And like again, Zawowski, for instance, why not go after him? I don't understand. He's saying the exact same
Well,
thing.
because he's in the U.S. where free speech. The only reason that and again, don't get me wrong. I'm certainly not giving a pass to the conspiracy clickbait shit. I'm not giving a pass to the stuff that AD did make up it back in the day.
Oh
I've
no, I
I've
agree.
never gone back on that. And as far as you're concerned, Val, I know you would like. I don't understand why it's any of your business, but of course I'm keeping. I have nothing to hide, Val. Why would I hide my AD videos? I debunked him legitimately. I wasn't making up lies and bullshit like you were. I don't need to hide my videos. So I stand by my videos. I did call him out in the day. Absolutely. And then it went too fucking far with your little buddy battery acid. And I mean, Martin was starting to, I was questioning him already, but the battery acid thing with the pedo shit, that put it over
I know.
the edge. And I stopped making AD videos. But why would I hide something that I have nothing to, there's no reason for me to hide, Val? Because she was all kicking off there, and I don't understand why JC still got all her AD videos. Why don't you worry about your fucking own backyard and stop sticking your goddamn fat ass beak into everybody else's, you shit stirring fucking sycophant?
Yeah, she is. She is. I mean, it's like they just want to keep this hysteria, like angry fucking groupie thing going, and like I've no
Because
interest
it's
in this
all
shit.
they have. It's all they have.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. You know, I mean, they can say what they want about me, but when it comes to lies, I will correct lies. But when it comes to my friends, I'm sorry, that's when I get really pissed off. You know, come at me all you like, but family and friends, no, 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 you won't do
Deborah,
that.
nothing has happened to AD. AD has been granted what we're talking about. Sorry, Deborah Rabbit just asked, has something happened to AD? No,
Oh
no.
yeah, go
What
ahead.
what we're discussing is that he's been granted permission to appeal that so-called landmark case that was actually only a default win that Cohen Davis tried to hyperbolically spin into some sort of whatever, as I said, landmark case. He's been granted permission to appeal. So it's not over. And like I said to those fucking amoral cast of characters, hey, Salty, my love,
Hey,
they couldn't help themselves. All they had to do, Salty and I have been saying this for how long now? They couldn't fucking help themselves. All they had to do was just let the legal landscape play out how it was meant to play out. Nope,
yeah,
they couldn't do that. And now who looks like the fucking laughing stocks? They do.
yeah.
Criminal
But like,
contempt, prison, fines, asset
oh,
seizure. He's going to prison. Get the
mm.
fuck out of here.
But now you see the thing is here now, whatever evidence that has been submitted through the fairy, the crackpot, or the other one.
Dropbox Queen Linda.
Oh yeah, and Dehan or whatever. We know it's come to light. I mean, everybody now knows that they doctor everything to make it look a certain way. We
Well,
all
look
know
at
that.
Lizzie's outrageous, pulled out of her arse Patreon calculations on AD, even though Lizzie has zero access to the actual realistic data. But she stands by. She must be harassing Cohen Davis by sending them. I asked her for proof of her communication with Cohen Davis and that they'd be using them as evidence. I mean, she's a joke too.
Wow.
Calculations based on nothing of realistic data that she wouldn't have access to in the first place.
No, 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 not of course you wouldn't know. And like let's face it, at the end of the day, he's hang on a second, who's up?
He's going to be in handcuffs in the Old Bailey. Yeah, that was
Oh
Jan.
yeah,
Sorry,
exactly.
Wiccan. That was Jan Meredith Frost. Remember the cops rocked up on her doorstep because AD took out a hit on her life. I've never in my whole life come across a bunch of a small group of people that have had so many hits taken out on them ever.
I know. Looking insane. Roberta, how are you, darling?
I'm all right this time. Can you hear me all right this
Yeah,
time?
we can hear you. We got you,
Hi,
honey.
my lovely.
Oh, great.
Treats
I'm
for
only-
Pippin. Treats for Pippin.
You're going to make her fat as anything, you are.
I know. I love it.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's a bit of a shit show going on. It's all quiet over there, isn't it? Not a single word.
Oh, and there won't be either, you know.
Well, you know, no, not a single word on YouTube. I said to Roberta yesterday, within a couple minutes of me posting my community post, I said to Roberta, I said, I can already hear the ping, 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 pings of all the private chats and direct messaging groups. You know, because, you know, usually they have to collaborate together as a group to sort out how they're going to come at whether I put up a CP or Salty puts up a CP or you put up something or you do a, they have to, you know, collaborate together to figure out the best plan of action. Fucking sick
What a
fucks.
fucking weird bunch of people. If I put something up, I put it up. If you put something up, you put it up. I don't consult anybody about what I'm going to put up on my channel. It's my fucking channel. Same as
I don't even have you should none of you guys. I mean, I talked to Roberta and Sam, but I mean, I keep my Facebook list very, very minimal. And that's just how I've always been. And you know that, you know, it's not a personal thing, but can you imagine? I couldn't even imagine having to message you, go, Wiccan, what do you think if I post this? What if I post that? Will you reply with this? And then the worst part is not only do they have these conversations behind the scenes, but then they have the same conversations publicly, like it's the first time they're having it.
They have to have it rehearsed. Well, darling, if you approached me and said, what do you think if I post this? I'll be saying, sweetheart, I think we need to take you to the doctor.
How about you just do what you feel you want to do? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think we need to take you to a doctor. There's something else going on here if you're asking for permission to post on your own channel. What the fuck is wrong with you? You know,
Fucking
but
phonies.
Oh, I know. Yeah, no, my lives are never rehearsed. I have never got a clue what I'm going to say, and you know, unless there's something like that Jen posted that comes up, I never have a clue of what I've come. I've no agenda when I come on here. I just come on, see what happens, and see who comes up for a chat, and away we go. You know, so yeah, so there's no rehearse. I think everybody can understand. If you listen to a few of my lives, you get it. But yeah, no, I was so thrilled when I saw that yesterday, and not thrilled.
Sheila, they have to give Trollop Tosh enough time to rehearse her word salad shit.
Oh God, I can't. I just
well said, Sheila.
I feel like stabbing my eyes out with chopsticks when I see that she's got this long rambling. I've got a line or two in, and I'm like, I can't. I just can't.
I've
My
said before,
ADHD won't let me read it.
I know. I can't even click on the read more because you know it's just going to be an endless scroll of the same word salad puke. But it makes me laugh when I think about it. Was a while back now, like if not, well, it was after Bam died. But Bam has that second channel of hers, and I remember going through. I was looking for something that I hope she might have on there, and of course these were there. There were comments listed there from 4 fucking years ago, and guess who is spitting out the literal same word salad crap puke back 4 years ago under Bam's second channel, Cartoon Loon Tasha. Literally, if you looked at it and removed the 4-year time, you would have thought it was something she had commented on just recently. It's this. She's literally been repeating herself for years. Larnie, my Larnie's here.
And how many times does she say, "Oh, I'm not going to get involved. I'm not going to say anything"? You know?
She's always the first one there, except when I point out, when I publicly point out how she's always the first one there. Then she hangs back a little bit and lets someone else post first. I mean, she's so obviously predictable. It's so funny watching her. She's not triggered, but clearly she's triggered. She's not going to take. She's going to sue me and Salty. And then watching the whack job, she's going to sue us all for defamation for calling her a cartoon loon.
Okay, okay. Let's. Yeah, okay. I mean, how do you take the?
I know Bam throughout, and that's the thing. Every single person that is bamming, we're all part of Bam's channel at some point.
Yeah, it's true. You know, I wish that they could separate, you know, Bam's channel and us.
Bubbles, answer the question. Bubbles, right, Val? Oh yeah, you love being part of Val or Bam's channel then, eh? But after she threw your fucking scorned, vindictive, nasty piece of fucking trash ass out, then Bam became the worst thing. Bubbles, answer the question. Bubbles.
But she never gave Bubbles a chance to say anything. She was so rude, so aggressive. She was just like, I remember listening to it and I was like, oh my God, is she drunk? Why is she acting like this?
That's her. That's her. That's her.
But it was the only thing I could think of. Why is she like this? Why is she so aggressive? Why is she Bubbles? Answer the question. And she was getting more and more and more aggressive and more angry. And I was like, this is fucking crazy.
She's got a serious control issue.
Yeah.
Serious. She seems to think that she can control everything, and by doing that, she has to interject herself into the middle of everything and make it all about her when it's got fuck all to do with her. We didn't ask for her help. She, not as much of a Johnny come lately as battery acid, but don't forget, I mean, she didn't show up until sometime in whatever 2020, 2021, actually. You know, and she started out by nicking people's content.
Can I take a clip, love?
I'll still never forget another one of my favorite was, I was just going to say on Truth Justice's channel, and I had confirmed, I had talked to TJ before I said it to her, because I was sick and tired of, hun, sweetie, can I snip a clip? Can I snip a clip? So, of course, she said it to TJ, do you mind if I snip a clip? And I remember now exactly word for word, my response to her was, you could try creating something original for a change. That was my calling out and seeing her for what she was. And since then, she's never liked me because I see her for the fucking nasty piece of work she is. Deborah, Val is one hell of a fucking control freak.
Yeah.
And that's just one of her many issues.
Yeah, I have to agree with
Bam
you.
was
there.
doing really well with Bubbles on her own. I wish Bam would have kicked her fucking ass off.
You know, it would have been a very good conversation between Bam and Bubbles, because two of them were having a great conversation. Things were getting cleared up, you know, not cleared up as such, but there was a good conversation going. And then she comes in and just completely derails it. And all you heard was and her screaming. It just turned.
Well, and that's a perfect example. Val has to make herself the focal point of everything.
Yeah.
She is the narc. And that's what I've said, Deborah. For somebody that proclaims to be a professional expert in narcissism, she's not able to diagnose herself or the other fucking biggest narcissist on YouTube, battery fucking asshole.
Yeah, I mean, he's those videos when he was talking and everything else, what he was doing in his face, I just thought, this is fucking sick. And this is your great savior. This is the guy that you're siding with. This is the amazing YouTuber you have on your side. I'm thinking, oh my God. And then when he said, oh, they needn't think they're coming into this channel, those BAM pots aren't welcome in this channel. I was like, I wouldn't go near your fucking channel if I was desperate for any kind of.
How many times did BAM kick him out of her channel?
Oh, so many times. So many. So, I mean, I think he used every fault that he possibly had to keep coming back.
Well, yeah, and I remember he did that with me too, and I think that was what had a lot to do with TJ finally leaving, because when I first put up my first battery acid, he's a creep, whatever, my super sinister, super idiot video, the very first one I put up with him, I had a feeling, because I mean, you could tell what a fucking crazy maniac, fucking egomaniac, fucking psycho he was. That's when I put my comments on hold, and he came at me. I must have spent at least an hour. He would come at me with a comment with one alt account, and I would.
I should be back in a second. Oh, Jen, I hope you come back. Yeah, but he all that crew. I mean, I don't know what it was that they thought that he was going to do for them. Like what did they, like, raise their profile on YouTube? I mean, please.
Well, I think Dean bigged them up such a lot, though, didn't he? You know, yeah. He bigged them up. You know, thought he was not, you know, the best things in sliced bread. You know what I mean?
But that song or whatever it was that he wrote about, was it Madeleine McCann or what? You know,
he's done some disgusting things. Yeah,
that made me sick.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I didn't like Martin and Helen and all of that crew, you know, up to that, but it made me look at them in a very, very, very different light after that. I was like, you people, there's something fucking seriously wrong with you people. And the more I'm learning about this Second Life stuff that they hang out on, the more it's terrifying me, to be perfectly honest with you.
But when you think someone's got thoughts like that in the head,
I know, but they see, and I'm going to bring it back to Bam again. Bam had said that. She said for a grown man to think that alone, never mind say it, but think it was funny and acceptable to say on a public platform.
Yeah. It's absolutely disgusting. And what I laugh at now, and I hope Bam is laughing her head off because they're keeping her alive. Do you know what I mean? She's living in the head. I know. And I hope she's out there laughing her fucking head off,
Oh, so do I, yeah. Or as I used to say about, certain family members, I'm sure they're looking up at us laughing.
Yeah. And I'm sure she is as well, you know what I mean? Because they just keep bringing her up every single time,
I know.
They're keeping her name alive. That's all they're doing,
I know. And, love her, hate her, like her, whatever, she wasn't the worst of them on here. And the more I'm on here, the more I'm seeing, the more I'm hearing, the more I'm thinking, fucking hell, like this whole place is just full of demented people.
There was a lot of things that a lot of us didn't agree with what Bam says, but there's a lot of things we disagree with what other people say as well. But that's, she's entitled to go on a platform and say what she wanted to say. That was her platform, And she'd said things that I didn't personally like, but I did like the woman. I mean, she spoke a lot of truth, she really did.
She did. We have you back, Jen.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Am I here?
Yeah. You are here.
I could hear Wiccan saying, I hope she comes back. And I'm like, hello. Is there anybody out there?
Yeah, you went and then you dropped and you're back now. Woohoo.
Yeah. For now. So what did I miss while I was gone?
Nothing really. We were just talking.
Are the crickets still singing over in the land of La La Land of Delusion over there?
I don't know, because I'm on StreamYard on my phone, so I can't check. Not that I want to, because I'm sure somebody will send me a screenshot. Oh, and this Ali lunatic, she is.
Oh, Ali.
Oh my God.
Were you guys able to ascertain any clues from the Gloria song or Heart of Glass? Because I still can't figure it out.
Oh, God only.
No.
God only.
Only in her head, that one.
She was saying that we were looking for money off her or something, and no, not looking for, or maybe it was looking for money, and we ripped into her when her mother and her auntie and her cats died. Now that is an absolute filthy, dirty, rotten lie, Ali, because you know what? We have the emails that we sent you and we have your replies. You're an idiot. You're an absolute idiot.
Well, she is. I said, I've had her blocked for at least 2 years since that picture of her holding a gun saying how she's not scared of Martin Dehan was sent to me. I'm like, yeah, you're fucking cut off in every possible regard. And then some.
Was that like a handgun or like a rifle or a shotgun, or what was it?
It was, but whether it was real or not, I don't know. It was just the whole picture itself. As I said, whether it was real or not doesn't make a difference. It was a handgun. It was some kind of handgun.
Okay. Yeah. No, it's just
doesn't matter. A gun is a fucking gun.
Oh no.
And that was just right whack.
Yeah, no, it was just something else because I'll tell you later, but I don't want to say in case I'm wrong, so I'll just keep my mouth zipped for now. That was just curiosity. But yeah, when things start going on like that, and how Martin somehow has drawn this conclusion, because I have a gun license and I do have a gun because I like target practice. That's my sport. I love it. And somehow that makes Salty deadly and dangerous over in Scotland.
Well, kind of it just goes to show it's par for the course, the type of ridiculous, nonsensical world that Martin and his goblin fucking fiance live in. There's nothing of any reality of any kind.
I know, but Kiss's comment, I had a pain on my side. I was laughing so much. She said, so let me get this right. If Adele has 8 pints of Guinness over in Ireland, am I going to get done for drunk driving?
Oh. There's no logic in it at all, is there?
No, there isn't. There's zero.
Well, and how long have I been saying you can't make logic out of the illogical? You can't talk logic with the illogical, and and that's exactly what it's been with this fucking idiot group.
Yeah,
you know, they just couldn't leave well enough alone, and the fact that they didn't, and they've just made complete asses out of themselves. Contempt of court, fines, asset seizure, jail if he breaks another order. And this was all literally a week ago that they were talking this absolute nonsense.
But like, you know, look at it from another point of view. The family don't want anything to do with any of them anymore. Even Mama has said, please stop tagging me in your posts.
Yeah, and,
you know,
and that goes to show how much respect Chuff has. She's been asked to stop tagging, yet she still goes on and bangs on about it because it's all she has. Except
no
it means
boundaries,
nothing
though.
anymore. Nope.
And that's what I said to that now free formula or whatever you should call the fake one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's, you know, you seen the conversation that we were having. I said to her this morning, I'm bored with you now, go away. But I said to her, Helen keeps bringing Frankie's name up, and every time she brings his name up, his criminal record gets brought to the fore. Yeah. So he must be getting fed up with her bringing his name up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's been a long time, a very long time now, since they've been doing them any favors, and they're not doing. All they're doing is dragging. It's just reminding everybody about everything.
Yeah, it's true, and they're dragging their name further and further into the mud. Mm-hmm. Because, you know, don't forget Martin Dehan works.
Yeah, because Martin works for Frankie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Again, as I said the other day, so if that's the case, if you're still working for Frankie, does that threat come from Frankie, or did it come from you for Salty and me?
If you really want to help that young man, then you would just shut the fuck up about him and stop fucking going on and bleeding on and making complete jackasses out of yourselves publicly. Remedies hearing this, Remedies hearing that, Frankie this, Frankie. You'd be doing him a big favor to just shut the fuck up.
Yeah, they really would. Because sure as shit, none of us would be talking about it. I wouldn't be talking about it.
I actually even said to Roberta that post I made yesterday with the permit or the UK Justice website. That's the first like AD post I've made in forever.
Yeah.
Like that's how much, you know, I mean, you know, I'm not going on and on and on about AD because I mean it's over for me. It's been over other than not agreeing and not enjoying watching this underhanded, dodgy, shady tactics from Cohen Davis that they've tried to attempt to do. But other than that, I mean, yeah, it's over. But I haven't made a post about AD, but they go on like, you know, we're right up AD's butt.
But you know, the thing that really annoys me, JC caught in AD's chat, Darzan caught in. Like, who the fuck are you? Nobody pledged allegiance to you or to anybody else. You don't rule me. You're not my emperor, my king, or my fucking priest, or my bishop, or who. Like, get the fuck out of here. Who do you think you are? Caught. People can go where they want, to whatever channel they want, and it's nothing to do with you or anybody else. You don't get to tell people where they can and can't go on YouTube. You know, it's absolutely ridiculous. I didn't pledge allegiance to you or to anybody else. So this caught in AD's chat, get the fuck out of here. Like, you know, I can't be dealing with that shit. Like, you know, what does he think this is?
And as we were saying yesterday, Jen, Cohen Davis will be happy.
They're support whenever they want. For whatever reason, they don't need to explain it to anyone.
No, they just dream it up and put it out as facts.
You know, for a long time, people walked around on tippy toes and eggshells because they were afraid to ask questions. When people started asking questions, they were retaliated with the likes of Martin and Helen when they were just reasonable questions, you know, considering there was lack of transparency, the lies, the misleading, the deception from Claire. They didn't want to answer any of those questions. You're just supposed to blindly support that family.
Yeah.
No, not anymore.
Works. No, but that's not the way it works.
Tough shit if you don't like it. Maybe maybe the behavior shouldn't have been so underhanded and shady, and things wouldn't have turned out like this.
Yeah. If they had been completely upfront I would have said, well, you know, fair play to them. He's been open and honest about his past, whatever. Okay, I don't agree with it, but you know, I'm not getting involved because of X, Y, and Z, and that would have been my choice. You know, you know, good luck to them. I wish them well. I would never have got involved. I would have just moved on and just watched something else. I wouldn't have got involved with this mess. But you know, on the other side of it is I've met some amazing people and I've made some really, really good mates, and for that I am grateful. But for the rest of it, they can keep it, you know.
Well, at least there's one good takeaway. Yeah, I mean, if I had known that this was going to be the end result, I would have certainly. I know we all say hindsight's 2020. I would have never gotten involved either, ever. And just watching the behavior from the people since this has continued playing out is beyond atrocious, abysmal, and absolutely fucking disgusting.
Yeah,
there's something seriously wrong with those people. Seriously wrong to be banging on about an old man years later.
I know.
Acting like he's the only channel in the world. Like, what? Who the fuck do they think they are? He deserves to be removed off all of social media.
Yeah, like
you know what? If I had to choose between AD and them, they should be removed before AD.
Oh, I agree. I absolutely agree, because I mean they're known trolls. I mean, they're self-confessed trolls, and they've been doing it for years and years. You know, so I mean, like, how can you take these people seriously when you know exactly what it is that they do, and they've confessed to it? And it's like, and you're proud of that. You're proud of like doctoring emails and doctoring live, like doing private lives, making it look like, you know, they're coming in under our names or your name, and making it look like we've said something, and it's all just a load of shit, like, you know. So that's why I was saying you would have to question all the evidence that's been submitted by any of these people now.
And putting up all them fake donations.
Well, don't forget
crowd justice.
Yeah, the malicious crowd justice donations. Yeah, that's another thing they tried to flush down the memory hole. Everything that has actually been a realistic, true event or incident that has happened, they've all tried to memory hole. Claire, the malicious crowd justice donations. I mean, we could go on and on and on and on all day with a list.
Yeah, I mean, I got onto them very fast because that's my business name, and they were not impressed. They were not happy, and I know another people, and then I saw another one, and I got back onto her again, and she said, "Okay, we'll be dealing with this," and then they removed the whole thing.
Yep, and people like Val and that fucked up anything but a fairy thought it was all hilarious. They could have completely cost and had Junior's whole crowd justice shut down, but they thought it was still funny even after the comments were removed. It was hilarious. They didn't give a fuck about Frankie. They don't give a fuck about that family. It's all about the self-adoration. That's all it is. They're fucking attention whores.
Yeah, it's like, oh, look at me, look at the wonderful things I'm doing. Don't look over there. Look over here at me. Look at me. I'm brilliant. I know everything. It's like, go the fuck away. I don't care what you know or what you don't know. Just stay the fuck away from me, because you're all
I think with this recent development, they've completely proven they know fuck all, acting like they know everything. And I think it's been now shoved down their throats that they know sweet fuck all.
Yeah, I know. But you know what? It's what Salty and myself have been saying for the past few weeks now. They have proven us right. Every single time we've said anything, you know, it's been deflection and lies and whatever. They've proven us right. Every single time, every single time, again and again and again, we've said this is what they're going to do next, this is what they're going to do now, and bang, like clockwork. It's embarrassing. It's absolutely embarrassing. You know, it really is. You guys need to take some time off, and I don't know what you need, but you need fucking something.
Well,
good advice there, Wicken.
Well, Lisa says here, she says, personally, I believe they're crazy enough to amp up. So basically, well, Lisa, I think what you're saying here, Lisa, is exactly what Helen accused us of. What was that stupid community post she made a bit back? Do you notice now that the Remedies hearing is coming close, that the trouble is amping up? What the fuck is she even talking about? Huh?
I don't know.
I'm sorry, what?
I don't know. Probably because we were taking the piss out of her, because they've probably said something that was quite cutting and nasty.
Of course, but it had nothing to do with AD as usual. But
no,
you know,
no, absolutely not. But she's trying somehow to worm it in with her and him him and the family. It's always trying to keep all of that together, like no
because
matter
that's
what
all
happens.
she lives in, breathes, but bam, AD. That's all they fucking live. Can you imagine? Again, like in the ping private offline behind the scenes in their private groups, in all their DMs, like talking nonstop about AD all day, every fucking day. Still,
no, I couldn't be friends with people that would do that to me. That like day in, day out. I couldn't be friends with people
it's a
that do that.
sickness. It's an
Yeah.
absolute sickness.
Well,
You need to lay off the
birds
chat
are better.
GPT, Sophia Delve. You look like a fucking moron right now. If he breaks those orders, fines, the asset seizures, enforcement orders, and yes, potentially prison. Judges don't play games. The public is watching. The court is watching. Oh my God. You need to take a break too. And Lizzie needs to shut her all hate group down. What a fucking joke that's become. No hate, no lies, only exposing armchair detective lies. No, all that group is full of is your fucking ridicule, public humiliation, and all your lies.
No,
Yeah,
I mean
genuine Rizik supporters group.
the people that I know that were debunking and done it beautifully, and really was to me, I always look to you, Jen, for you are the debunking queen, and I'm seriously bow down to you, girl, because you clowned, you debunked him in the right way, in the right manner. You know what I mean?
I tried to do it with some humor. I didn't, if you take a look at fucking Bells, just look at her thumbnails, her aggressive, forget about the condescending, sneering tone of her fat ass beak looking down at everybody. But there's a way, I know that I've been very nasty and aggressive when it comes to Martin and Helen, but you know why? The reason for that is I don't like being like that, but I'm like that because clearly having any type of discourse, civil discourse with them was never an option. So I'm going to point out all of your absolute fuckery. So I don't give a fuck if people say the bullying brigade. Why are you bullying Helen? No, calling out Helen's atrocious, deceptive, nothing but lying, fake as fuck nature is not bullying.
Yeah, it's true. And
the way Martin has gone after people for years and years, he's lucky that what I'm doing and how I represent him is all he's getting. And the same goes with that fucking wingnut cartoon loon. Like I've said before, I could be a lot nastier, but I think she's gotten off pretty mildly with being called cartoon loon, yet she's got no thick skin of whatsoever. She needs to get off social media if she can't handle a little criticism like that.
Well, I thought we were all going to court with her as well. Is that not happening now? No?
Oh, well, you'll have to ask her. Maybe she's hired Cohen David through a referral from Martin Behan. Or Claire Morgan. Hey, Tasha, why don't you hire Claire Morgan since you seem to support and white knight for her so much? Get her to be your lawyer.
Yeah. Cool. I mean, she's top-notch solicitor, isn't she, in England and the UK? I mean, yeah, there you go. You're sorted, girl. I mean, she's a mate. I'm sure she'll do mate rates. She won't charge you too much. So, yeah, that sounds like a plan. That sounds like a goer. Fuck's sake. I mean,
Tasha was pretty quick.
Go on.
She was pretty quick. She was pretty quick when I once I nicknamed her Cartoon Loon. How quickly she stopped using the cartoon filters. Too bad she couldn't fix the loon part instead.
Yeah, we would have much preferred that actually. The cartoon was at least entertaining. But yeah, the nonsense and the drivel that comes out of some people is unreal. And, the other.
Yeah, I would have gladly swapped the staying as a cartoon for her to act a little bit more sane for sure.
Yeah, I know. And, the other thing that kind of makes me laugh is, I've been fairly open about, my dad and my dad's past and all that kind of thing. And they love digging at my dad,
And I think that's abhorrent. I'm sorry they do that, Wiccan.
Well, you know what? The way I see it is, I think they have this modern idea in their head that they somehow went in with balaclavas and high-powered machine guns, and do you know what I mean? Everybody on the ground. It was the 60s. It was the 60s in Dublin. There was no big glass counters or anything like that. There was just like a little desk and a person behind the desk. And all the trays, all the lads did was they'd walk in, open their coat, show a bit of a pow-pow, and that was it. Nobody even knew what happened until they had left. So, I mean, that's just the way it was, back in the day. But
You don't have to justify yourself to a
No,
bunch
I
of
don't.
assholes. And
No,
this is why I'm so glad that I've never been the type of, and I'm not knocking any of you guys, but I've always kind of, you guys know, I just keep to myself. Not that I have anything to hide, but I always keep to myself. And you can see that they absolutely will take any small nugget of someone's personal that they just put out there. Like, I mean, look at me, for example. I've explained a little bit about my, substance abuse past history, and they've taken that and weaponized it.
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But everybody seems to have PTSD now, oh, my auntie was in a bank when it was robbed and she has PTSD. And I was like, really? Well, that's incredible. And, and then we mentioned, oh, it's not good enough. They're wishing cancer on us. They're wishing AIDS on us now. And I had an uncle that, I'm like, fucking hell, girl. I mean, your family's just a fucking disaster. Everything seems to happen to you and your family.
Well, what I find interesting is people like Val, and I mean, I have no idea, and I really could not care any fucking less. But she claims, and I only know this because of fucking Big Fat Mouth Cartoon Loon, that Val has had such trauma in her life. Well, for somebody that's apparently suffered such trauma, she's awfully fucking aggressive and nasty going after other people.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
generally, I'd like to think how people act is if they've been, if they've truly been victimized and hurt, the last thing they want to do is hurt other people.
No, they don't. They absolutely don't. Well, I suppose it depends on their psychological evaluation as well, because I think a lot of people need one of them. But generally, if you've been abused or hurt or whatever in there's so many ways people can be abused, mentally, physically, sexually, whatever. You're generally a little bit more inclined to stay quiet and not be so confrontational. Because it makes you feel scared. You don't want to have a big confrontation with people. And then what, sometimes you just grow a spine again and you go, you know what, fuck this, I'm done being a doormat. And I was a bit like that when I came on here, and it took me a while to tell people that I was ADHD. It took me a while to feel comfortable enough to talk about certain things, and now all of a sudden everybody has something, is what I find hilarious. Everybody has something now.
Mm.
And
well, it's almost
fine.
like they're all trying to upstage each other. And I've said this to Sam, I think, before many times. It's all like they're trying to upstage each other with the bigger, better, more victimhoody story. I know victimhoody is not a word, but I just made it up. But you know what I mean? Like somebody like Val, she can't be outshined by somebody who's had this traumatic experience. She's going to exaggerate and make up a bigger, worse story. So people will feel like it's almost like a battle of the victims, the faux victims, that is.
If I lost a leg, Val would lose 2 legs and an arm.
Yeah,
if I died,
exactly. While in a narcissistic confrontation.
Yeah, if I died, she would have died 3 times and came back with arms. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, go the fuck away! I can't be dealing with the likes of you.
Yeah,
you can't.
I have no time. I've never had time for people like that. Even in the real world, there's always that, and that's who Val and Chuff are on a smaller extreme. There's always that one person that always has to try to trump your story and always tries to make it a bigger, better story. That's who they are, except they're on a more dangerous, mentally deficient, cognitively impaired level.
I agree. And the thing that really annoyed me was the clips that Val took of myself and so, why didn't you call Salty out then? Why didn't you call Salty out? Well, I didn't need to, because she explained exactly what she was saying. Now, I'm supposed to be the one with the learning difficulties, but I could understand what she was saying and what she was doing. It was a comparison. And if you can't understand
Val knows that. Oh, she does know that. That I think personally, I think the reason Val did all that was to quickly take the heat off the fact she had been blown out of the water, busted, and clowned over her timeline of lies over her, 7-8-year-old salon reviews. Yeah. That's what it was, because she was getting roasted for that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I did.
And of course, so did I. Her latest CP. You know what, Val? Much like Martin, just because you have your 50 million alts, getting to like your stupid post doesn't actually truly reflect what's going on. Seeing you and Cartoon Loon having an echo chamber conversation back and forth just goes to show how off kilter your likes are and compared to your comments. It's only the two of you talking the same garbage you've been talking for years. You guys are a fucking joke.
I honestly don't go to their channels. People do send me screenshots if it's about me or any of my friends. So
I look for good laughs every once in a while. I'll do a lap around. That's why I do it.
Yeah, no, I
see what nonsense.
Yeah, no, I know, and I understand that as well.
I can't watch her videos. I certainly refuse to. I haven't watched her videos for years. I can't stand that condescending fucking fat face of her, sneering her condescending beat down at everybody.
The thing that really annoyed me was in her video when she was Alan, my sweet Alan, you know, that's not something to upset about. You know, I mean, maybe you want to get some strength or you know, get some therapy, and I don't know what's going on there. And I was like, you fucking bitch.
Tell me that's not a fucking thirst trap attention whore without telling me she's a thirst trap attention whore.
Yeah, you know, it's like, what the fuck? Like, this is his daughter, his 17-year-old daughter you're talking about. Of course.
Oh my God. And she would bang on for 45 minutes too, sitting on her fucking couch about narcissists.
Oh my God. You know, and but then show me where I ever spoke about Alan's daughter. Bang. There you go.
There you are, Val. There you are, Val.
Yeah, I know. It's just a whole big pile of shit, to be honest with you. And it's the only way I can talk about it. It's just a big stinking heaping pile of shit. You know,
she sure did, YouTube ladies. She changed her name. She took out the Tasha from her channel after I started calling her Cartoon Loon as well. She's so she totally did back when I first started. So funny. She's trying to make everybody believe she's not triggered, but she's fucking triggered as all hell. She's so easy to rile up. It's so funny.
I know. People are funny.
And as I said, she gets off so mild. There's a lot worse things she could have been called, but she chooses to show selective outrage at Cartoon Loon. Sue me, you fucking whack job. I dare you.
That's what they all do, though. That's what they all do. It's all selective outrage. You know, the thing that really pisses me off, you know, when I think back, now I don't know. I'm not going to pretend to know the ins and outs of say Robbie and Amy and all of them. I don't know, and I don't want to know. I've heard bits and pieces from Granny Fanny's lives, whatever. But you know, Amber sat on his panel when he ripped the ever loving shit out of Amy's child, you know, a minor child. But that's okay. Everybody was absolutely okay about that. And he was 10 times more vicious than Bam ever was about Amber's daughter. Like, you want to hear.
No idea what you're talking about. That means nothing to me. So I have no comment.
It was disgusting. It was absolutely disgusting. But they're all okay with this because they like him. Do you understand the comparison I'm making here? Like, Bam went for Amber's daughter because she was asked to stop with her crap about her brand new born grandson. Say Robbie goes after Amy's kid because of whatever falling out they had, and he was 10 times more vicious about that child than Bam ever was. But that's okay. None of them ever say, "Oh no, but that's all you get." But. I'm like, no. If you're outraged over that child, you should be outraged over this child. That's not how your outrage works. If you
they showed all their outrage. So Bam is gone. That live. My understanding. I mean, I wasn't around at the time, and I've said this a million times. I wasn't around when all that shit went down with Amber's kid. But my understanding is that live, that Bam for whatever, maybe 8 to 12 minutes actually. Whatever she did say about Amber's kid, that was removed. Now what do we have left? These so-called fake advocates. All we have left that's online are the multiple countless videos that they've re-uploaded of Bam talking about that kid.
Yeah. And the thing is, they all sat in that chat and listened and was like, oh God, yeah. And I'm like, you fucking hypocritical.
Well, they're allowed to sit there and hate watch, but they can be hypocritical and call people out for being in the chat. I think you're just a little upset because you've been kicked to the curb and you're fucking angry about that.
Yeah, I agree.
That's what it boils down to.
Yeah, I know.
Because if you remember when I first met Bam and I started going on her panel before she started getting a little out out of control with the Shanann bashing and shit. Everybody loved it when I would get on panel with Bam. But then, you know, she did start going down that dark road that I didn't want anything to do with. But then all of a sudden, all of us were lumped in as Bam. We may as well all have been Bam.
And Jen, you know as well as I do, when Bam had something in her head, there's not you, me, or a herd of wild horses that could,
Nope.
you know, take her away from whatever she was going to say. And
no, and you couldn't tell her. And why would you want to make yourself people, you know, again, the fake outrage, trying to tell me I need to be calling out Bam? I'll fucking call out who I want to call out. You know, you're not going to change her mind. You're not going to stop her from doing what she wants to do. So why would you make yourself a fucking target to become in her verbal mouth when you know there's nothing she's going to do what she wants to do? It's her fucking channel. You don't like it, don't fucking watch.
Yeah. And like what we didn't do was we didn't pull her up live on stream because it was her channel. And we all just, you know,
we would have been banned immediately if we even dared try.
Well, yeah, of course we would. I mean, that's a given. But, you know, we did try and have conversations about this with her, but she just was not having it. And
she wanted nothing to do with it. Yeah.
No, you know, so, I mean, there was no more we could do. You know,
no.
And then,
you know, and I do want to point out again for the friggin' unwanted peanut gallery, because all of this time they're banging on. I've never agreed with the way that Bam did bash Shanann, and that's one thing that Dropbox Queen, fucking Linda, the whole lot of them would always you know, you allowed her. We didn't allow her to do anything, but I'm telling you, I was up on a panel, and it's funny how the Dropbox Queen hasn't produced that live that I know she has, but I was up on panel and I told Bam that I didn't like it. It made me uncomfortable when she bashed Shanann, and that's when I would leave. I would bow out. Yeah. You know, well, I said that right to her face on panel, but of course they try to flush that down a memory hole and pretend that never happened. None of you ever said anything. Get fucking bent.
Yeah, but how did they know? None of us ever. Just because we don't do everything on public display like they do and overshare and fucking all that shit. We did what we
they know because it suits their retarded narrative that they want it to suit.
Yeah. You know, I mean, like, as I say, we all knew what Bam was like. If she had it in her head, it was happening. And there wasn't anything you, me, or God himself could have done to change her mind, you know. And and that was just it, you know. And as I say, we had to part in our ways. And, you know, because we were all very tight and we were very good friends, we're not going to go spilling, you know, this, that, and the other. And they were expecting that. They were dying for it. But I think that makes them hate us even more because we've got morals.
Because they stampede and stomp all, because they stomp and, and they stomp and stampede over everybody else's their own personal boundaries by oversharing. You know, they expect it demand that everybody else does, and it doesn't work like that.
No, like, we're adults with proper thinking minds, and if I fall out with somebody, it doesn't mean that I'm going to then pull up all our private conversations and throw them out there for the world to see. Why would I do that? You know, I don't.
Sheila Fake as Fuck Chuff has decided to come out from hiding and make a post. I can only imagine. I don't give a fuck.
Good
Obviously,
God.
just goes to show she's listening. They're all listening. Hi, Peanut Gallery. You can go get fucked, all of you.
There's just they're just funny. You know, they're only worthy of being clowned now, to be perfectly honest with you. And I don't know if you've been listening to Terry when he has been on panel with me. He has been clowning the ever-loving shit out of Martin. And, you know, he's hilarious at it. He's just, he is the king of comedy. I'm not joking you. He's been very funny. But, so, I mean, that's where we are. There's no remedies. He's got an appeal. And we'll have to see how it goes. When is the appeal, Jen, due to be in court? Does it say?
Oh, I have no idea. I know as much as you do, just from what's off that Justice Tracker. We'll have to keep an eye on that, but I guarantee it's not going to be this week or next week. So, you know, unfortunately, as I said, I'm going to jump down after this just because the connection I'm on is starting to get a little sketchy. But the last thing I want to say is, you know, you guys just couldn't leave well enough alone. You couldn't just let it play out how it was going to be play out. And now you guys have made complete jackasses out of your fucking selves.
I know. It's embarrassing, really. It really is. Well, Jen, thank you so much for coming up and having a chat with us. It's always lovely to have.
Well, thanks for having me.
Oh, it's always lovely.
I'm sorry about the connection. It's kind of been off and on, so I apologize there for maybe talking over you, because it's, bless your heart. I'm gonna go jump back down and go into chat.
Bye for now, Jane.
All right, love you, Berta. I love you, Wiccan. I'll see you in the chat.
Yeah, so that's that. And Roberta, you were trying to say things yesterday, and bless you, we couldn't get you up. What was it that you wanted to? I want you to have your voice be heard as well. So, because myself and Salty wanted to hear what you had to say, your opinion.
Well, it was just that post that Chuff put up. She was blaming that child, and what I didn't say in my post was there was 3. This is coming from Chuff's admission. There were 3 adults there that day. There was her, there was a grandmother, and there was a little lad's father. So a 7-year-old was out there playing on the street, and the 3 adults there. Could not one of them went out and supervise the child? This is what's pissed me off. She's put this up for, I don't know why she put it up. I mean, if it happened, it would never have happened to any of my children, because my children wouldn't be out in the street at that age. But say it did happen to one of my children, I would be so mortified. I would never put a post like that up, because it was neglect. And that's, there's no fucking ways about it. It was pure neglect. One of them should have been out there supervised. And then she blames another child for giving her child a dodgy bike. That man will be an adult now. He'll be in his 30s. He's had to live with that.
That's not fair.
It's just fucking not on, and it made me so angry, when I read it. I thought, what the fuck? You know what I mean? And there was nothing really, it was all about her,
Yeah.
How she felt, what she, it just fucking, it was all wrong. To me, it was all wrong. And,
No, I understand. Yeah.
Sorry?
I mean, no, I understand your feelings about it exactly. So, okay, so the 3 adults were in a house. Is that what you're saying? And the child was...
She was visiting the grandmother and the little boy's father.
Okay.
Because obviously they had separated, and she was visiting them. It must have been a mother-in-law or her ex-mother-in-law, I would take it.
Right.
It was a child's grandma.
Okay.
So she was there, the father was there, and Chuff was there. So 3 adults, and not one of them could go out and supervise a little boy.
Yeah.
Know?
I'll give you, for instance, now. My grandmother's house was a very small little house, so 2 up and 2 down. And the 3 of us were upstairs one day, and my daughter was a year and a half. And we were all busy kind of tidying up and moving things around. We were wallpaper and painting, whatever. And I didn't have a gate on the top of the stairs at the time. I had it on the bottom. I forgot to bring it up to the top. And I just saw her on the first step, and I dove like a lunatic. I grabbed her because there was a turn in the stairs, and it was like brick walls. I grabbed a hold of her, and I took every belt, every stair, every knock, every bang, all the way down the stairs. And she got up and she was perfectly fine. She was like, hey! And I'm there going, I think I need a fucking ambulance.
But you do with your I mean, I'll give you for instance as well. I mean, my grandson, my daughter's little boy, he started like we call big school. He's 12, not long ago. And he said to his mum, because she was picking him up from school in the car, and he said to his mum, I want to walk home with my friends. And my daughter said to me, oh, Mum, I don't know what to do. I said, look, he's going to be the laughing stock of the school. They're going to call him a baby and all the rest of it. He's 12 now. And it's about a 20-minute walk from the school to the house. I said, what to do is, I said, let him walk home from school, but get in the car and ghost them, spy on them for a couple of days. Just watch them coming home. Don't let them see you. And just to put your mind at rest. And she done that for a few days, and he was fine. So she let him walk home from school. But I mean, he's 12. He's 12.
It's a big difference. It's a
Yeah.
very big difference. I mean, as I was saying the other day, I mean, maybe I'm just maybe I was too much of a helicopter parent. I don't know, but they were never allowed use anybody else's toys, and they weren't allowed share their, give anybody else their toys, because reason being, when they did do it before, they got them back and they were in bits. So that was the rule that we had in the house. And if you're going on your bike, you have your helmet on. End of. There's no arguments. It just wouldn't come out. I wouldn't take it out unless the helmet went on. So we had our rules, and I suppose I was quite a strict mum when they were small. But they're things that you have to instill in your kids when they're small, or else you're going to have problems. But
Yeah.
I would be out with them in our yard, like while the dinner was cooking, whatever. And when I was going in, the bikes would go in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anything can
Yeah.
happen out in bikes on their own out in the yard. That way. Anything.
But a 7-year-old is not going to make good decisions. It doesn't matter what he's out there doing. He's not going to make good decisions, And there was dodgy men walking about the streets then, or in vans picking up bloody children. You just, not a 7-year-old. No way. And I mean, a lot of people are going to say to you about me, you've got no sympathy for a grieving mother. I have got sympathy for mothers that have lost children through no fault of their own.
Yeah.
She lost that child. She should have been out there with him, or one of them adults should have been out there looking after that child. I'm sorry the little boy lost his life. I really, really am. It should never have happened. But it was an accident that was preventable as far as I'm concerned. It was.
Yeah. But most accidents are preventable. I mean, it's just people, as you say, being negligent or not keeping their eye on the ball, and that's how accidents happen. It's like somebody crossed a line, and they're driving, they crashed into somebody coming. Why? Because they bent down to pick up their phone, or they were twiddling with the radio. They weren't paying attention. These things happen, but if you're not if your attention isn't being dragged away to somewhere else, and you're just focused on what you're doing, I mean, that's just the way I was with mine. When I went in, the bikes went in, and they came in and they played games or whatever else. But I never left mine anywhere.
No.
I just didn't. I just don't trust people.
No. As I say, a 7-year-old can't make good decisions when they're out in the street on their own. They'll run across the road, even although you might have said to them, "No, don't go near the road." But they see one of the friends across the street, or the ice cream van pulls up across the other side of the street. They're off, aren't they? You know what I mean? You've got to be there with them at that age, especially at that age, because they're not thinking. They don't think for themselves,
Still only, I mean, I still think of them as babies at 7. I know they're not, but I mean, you look at them and go, God bless them. They're still only so young. You know what I mean? They don't see any harm in anything. There's no danger. They're just,
That's exactly what it is. They don't see danger at that age. They don't.
Yeah, I know.
That's why they've got to be watched.
Exactly.
As I say, I'm sorry the little lad lost his life. I really, really am. It was awful. And I wouldn't wish that on anyone. I really wouldn't,
No.
But for her to put that post up just pissed me off. And then she brings up Frankie and Claire. Was that all the post was about? Just to get their names out there as well? It wasn't even just all about her son. She had to, at the end of it, bring them out as well. Why? You know what I mean?
I don't know, Roberta. I wish I did know. I don't know. I don't. Is it trying to stay relevant? Is it trying to pull them? Is it trying to pull the family back into their friendship group circle thing again? I really don't know. I don't know what it is that they're trying to achieve, but they've done the complete opposite, as far as I'm concerned. They've they've really, really, really gone out of their way to upset and hurt a lot of people. I've clowned a lot of people. Do I deny it? Absolutely not. Have I talked shit on here? I absolutely have. And I think I'll stand by absolutely everything that I've ever said on here, unless I've been proven wrong about something, and then I'll go, okay, fair enough, that was wrong. Shoot me, sue me, whatever. But it would have been true to the best of my knowledge at the time that I was saying something, but I stand by anything and everything that I've said on here, and people like to take your words, twist them, chop them up, and make it into something that it isn't. And I'm just not okay with that. You know, and as I said the other day, I could do the exact same thing with Val. I could have her saying all sorts of horrible things about men online, but I'm not going to do that because it wouldn't be true. B, it's completely disingenuous, and I don't do lies. You know, so I'm not going to do that. I could very easily do it, but why would I want to do that? No, that's just striking out to intentionally hurt somebody for what? For saying mean words to me or trying to make me out as a liar or Sam out as a liar. We know we're not liars. We know what we've said. Anybody with a right thinking mind can see what we've said in my lives, and you know, that's all I'm going to say about it. There was nobody was attacking Helen over her child's death. What I did was comparisons.
Yeah.
You know, Salty's abuse was incredibly traumatic. And
that was, she should have taken that post down and apologized to Salty.
She should.
She really should have.
But she won't, and she never will, because in her,
excuse me,
you know, everything revolves around her. But so Salty's situation was traumatic. Her situation was traumatic, you know, losing her son. I was making the comparison. There was no way I was beating any mother over the death of her child. I wouldn't do that. But you know, I've lost children. Does that make me more of a pitiable person because I've lost more children than her? At what point does this shit stop?
Yeah, I know. And another thing, I seen she put a post out. I mean, I didn't know. Apparently, it's Child Awareness Death Week or something like that. I forget the words. I might be wrong in saying it that way, but she's put nothing else up about any other child. You know, if it's awareness, where's the awareness then? What, you know, she talks a lot of fucking shit. She does. Excuse my language.
No, you're grand. Say how you feel. And you know, the reason I don't do things like that, and I don't do the Autism Awareness Month or this Awareness Month or that Awareness Month, people already know about it. It's not my job to keep everybody informed and up to date. Plus, maybe I just don't want to talk about it. Maybe I don't want to talk about my losses. Maybe too raw. Maybe I don't want to talk about them. But that's my choice and my decision to make. You know,
exactly.
And I won't be forced into speaking about it because it's nobody's business except mine and my husband's, and that's it.
That's right. Yeah, it's not for them anyway. It's not for anybody. It's your personal, you know, as you say, yours and your husband's. You know what I mean? And it's not for them. But because you know what they're like, they twist things round. You know what I mean? And fucking make it nasty. You know what I mean?
But that's
they done that with Salty's dad's photo, didn't they? She had to she got that taken down. Why?
I mean, so upset for her. I was so upset. I couldn't believe the depths that they will sink to. Her own father with her in the picture for Father's Day, and I mean, how low are you people?
Yeah. I just don't see why someone would do that. You know, they're nasty pieces of work. They really are.
Yeah, I mean, like if anybody else any of them decided to post a picture of their mum or dad that had passed or whatever, do you think I'd be bothered me arse putting a strike on it or doing this, that, or the other? Why would I dream of doing that?
You know, that wouldn't even enter my head. That
no, me either.
No.
Me either. It wouldn't. It just wouldn't. You know, when I saw that, I was like, I actually don't believe that. I cannot believe people are that sick and that mean and nasty minded that they will turn and do something like that to somebody, you know, and especially after the week that she had with having to go online and show her picture, and you know,
traumatizing her all over again, aren't they?
It is. And you know, I saw another comment where it seems that I'm being blamed to try and push Chuff to end it all. I'm like, what?
God.
How are you getting? How?
Well, if she wasn't overshared, she put that post up, Wiccan. I mean, I would be talking about her and a child if she hadn't put that post up. She needs to stop fucking oversharing things, you know. And that's what she does. She overshares and she wants sympathy. I mean, my daughter will say to people anyway, if you want sympathy, don't go to my mother because you won't get it.
There must be a bit of Irish in you, is there?
Oh yeah, it's just. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a hard-faced bitch. I will, if someone needs sympathy for a good reason, but I don't like these people that are fucking, oh, woe is me. Do you know what I mean? I'll get the fucking, I ain't got time for you. Yeah, I just haven't,
No, and especially when it's been the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. It's like, oh my God, how many times are you going to like drag this awful event that happened in your life to your little child, and how often are you going to drag this out and parade it around, go, oh, look at what they're doing to me, and this and like, just stop. Just stop. Nobody wants to hear about this, not because it's boring or horrible. It's just because it's uncomfortable. It's not nice. It's too much.
It's too much. Yeah,
It's
that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's a private thing, and I would never share anything like that anyway. I just wouldn't, And is it attention seeking she's after? Is it? I just don't get her. I really don't get all this oversharing with Jeff. It's ridiculous, and she needs to rein it in. She really does. But
But she changed a lot when she, it seems, when she met or got together with her partner that is of now at the moment. It seems that she changed a lot. I didn't know her beforehand, so I have nothing to reference it off. But it's a pity because people had trusted her, had said things to her, and it's been used against people now. It's not nice.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not nice. But that just shows you the stamp of the woman, then, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it shows you the stamp of her. And she's just shown herself of what she really is. She's not a friend. A friend doesn't do things like that.
No.
I don't consider that a friend.
No, and even if you fall out with somebody, I still wouldn't do it.
No, I wouldn't either. I never have done, and all my life I've never done it. I always keep my mouth shut and keep. I think it's done to me. If I've fallen out with someone, to me they're gone, and that's it. That's me finished with them, and that's it. I don't harp on about it. I don't go on about them. I don't say anything about them. I'm done, and that's it. Move on.
Yeah, but they don't seem to be able to do that, Roberta. They seem to be stuck in this weird twilight place where everybody has to like report to them and consult with them before you post, and it's fucking insane. Like, it really is. It's going too far. They've gone too far, and again, this live is probably going to be ripped apart, and you're probably going to be ripped apart, and so it's JC and then anybody else who's been on, but you can do all of that. You can rip us apart and you can say X, Y, and Z, but at the end of the day, the truth is the truth, and it'll speak louder than any of yous.
It is, that's what I've only spoken. What is the truth she's put out there? I'm only saying what she's put out there. She put out there that there was 3 adults there that day. Well, why the fuck wasn't one of them out there looking after the child? You know what I mean? So I'm only saying what she said. One of them should. I just don't understand why one of them wasn't out there looking after them. But then she'll come out with some fucking excuse or something. I don't know. She was putting away shopping. Yeah, all right. I mean,
so why couldn't the dad have been outside, or the granny even standing at the door?
Why didn't the granny put the shopping away, and she was out there with the child? You know what I mean? I think it's all fucking lies. She said someone accused her of drinking and being drunk on that day, or drinking on that day. I never seen anyone say that about her. I haven't seen that personally.
I'll tell you exactly what I said.
Is that a guilty conscience, is it?
Pardon?
Is that a guilty conscience?
Well, I don't know. What I was referring to was when she decided to lie about Salty, and Salty having to go and do the live and put the post up, all that kind of thing, or picture up, I should say. I said, so how would you feel if somebody decided to lie about you and the circumstances surrounding your little boy's passing or your child's passing? How would you feel if somebody said, oh, I don't know, that you were in your neighbor's house or whatever, and you were drinking wine, whatever? That'd be horrible, and it wouldn't true and it wouldn't be right. So that's where she's getting that from. Again,
Is that where? Oh, right. Is that
yeah,
where she's getting it from? All
yeah,
right. She
again,
twisted that round, didn't she? She's
yeah,
twisted it round.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I was making comparisons. Nobody
Yeah.
owns pain. Nobody owns grief. We all have pain. We all have grief. We all have sadness, and we
Mm-hmm.
all have to deal with it. But there's certain things that you just don't fucking lie about. And especially when you know you're lying, she knew she was lying when she spoke about Salty like that. That's the part that really fucking annoys me and hurts me for her. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
she
Yeah.
knew she was lying when she was saying what she was saying, and there's no coming back from that, as far as I'm concerned.
No, there's no coming back from that. You don't hurt someone like that. You know what I mean? You just don't do that. And
No.
that was bad. That was really, really bad. You
Yeah,
know,
it was.
to do that to another woman. You know, and I think Chuff's been through relationships that have not been very good. She's been in abusive relationships. So to even say that,
I
you
know.
know, about a woman that's been through it herself, you know, I mean, it doesn't make fucking sense. It just doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. So
No.
it leads me to believe that either it never happened, because if it did, she would never have said that. She would
No.
ever have said that, or else, I don't know. I don't know what B is, but it just leads me to believe that it never happened. If it did, it's a horrible thing to happen to anybody, and
Of course.
my sympathy will only go so far with some people, you know.
Yeah, I know. But that's what they're like over there. They just twist everything that we say, and obviously things that I've said today will probably get twisted all round, and I'll be every name under the sun. But I don't give a monkey's. You know what I mean? I've got thick skin, as I say.
Yeah,
I've only spoke the truth anyway, and if they want to twist it, then fine.
yeah. Well, I mean, that's all we've ever done is speak the truth here, and they don't like it. And and the more truth we hand out, the more hateful they get, and that's not our problem. You deal with it. You create these situations, and then you go crying about them. So it's like, fucking, what you want us to do about it? I'm not going to sit back and allow you to lie about me or my friends.
No,
I'm not I'm not going to have that. I'm not going to. There's nothing I can do to stop you as such, but I am going to come back, and I am going to do a live, and I am going to put lies straight. And that's the only way I deal with lies and things like that. I'll go live.
yeah, and it's the only way to do it. They don't like it, but they shouldn't tell lies then in the first place, and we wouldn't have. This is the thing: we wouldn't have to come back at them
Exactly.
if they didn't talk shit. I did tell lies and things like that. We wouldn't say nothing about them.
Yeah, I know. But again, that won't go through their heads, But I'm going to actually I have to go now in a second. But the last thing I want to say is, so what if Claire lied? I mean, it says it all, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
All right, I'll jump down and let you say your goodbyes, Wicked. But thanks very much for having me out.
Oh no, I'm so thrilled that you were able to come up. And yesterday I was like,
I know, it's so frustrating for me as well.
I know, I felt so
it was embarrassing as well. I was so embarrassed about it. I was scared to try today, but I thought, well, I'll give it another try and see what happens.
Yay, success. No, don't be embarrassed. Jesus, that happens all the time. Don't worry about it. Listen, thanks again, Roberta Love, and it's always great to get your opinions and your thoughts.
Okay. Thank you, Wicked.
Bye
for now.
Bye, Dad. So I want to say thank you to MRE again for coming up, and Zakatoshi and Terry, my pal Terry. Salty. Oh no, well, Salty was in chat. Sorry, JC. It's weird when Salty hasn't been up on panel. And I'm still thanking her. It's like she's part of my life now. Roberta and JC, and I'm probably leaving somebody out. I can't think at the moment. But anyway, thank you everybody for coming up, having a chat, and just sitting and listening. If you don't agree, you don't agree, and that's fine. We all won't agree on everything, but please don't lie about facts, and don't lie about things that we have said, because I'll just keep coming back on and showing you again that you're liars, that's all I can do, is just keep coming back and straightening out lies, because I really don't like them, and I think we're all in agreement with that. Okay, lovely people. On that note, I will be back tomorrow at 1:30. If you're around, great. We'll hopefully have a bit of crack tomorrow. One way or another, I'm sure we'll have a laugh. So thanks again to everybody that came up on panel and that came in to chat. It was great to see everybody. Okie dokie. Love yous all. Bye.